What's going on, everyone? Welcome to a CobraCast 199 on what day is it? Thursday, I think. Now there's a lot going on, and I wanted to jump right into it. We're currently waiting for the White House press briefing to start. There has been chaos across social media recently. It's just been a complete shit show. And I'm going to get into all of that, but I figured we would go live right now to cover this. Trump just had a meeting with his national security team, apparently, and now we're going to get a White House press briefing, and then we're going to talk about all of the chaos that we're seeing across social media right now. It has been a shit show, to say the least, to the point where it's just like it's not even worth being on Twitter and trying to get into any back and forth or conversations with anyone. It is absolutely insane, to say the least. So first of all, how's everybody doing today? Is my microphone working? Test, test, test. Can you guys hear me? I just need to make sure. You never can tell if the fucking microphone's working. Okay, it looks like it's working. So there we go. Okay. So, and of course I see people saying muted in the chat too, so I never know. Now I have to double check again. Test, test. Okay. Fuckers. But yeah, so that's what we are going to cover today. We're going to see how this all plays out as soon as it gets started. But yeah, being on Twitter and seeing the back and forth is just nuts right now. And as we're waiting for this, maybe I'll go ahead and show you some of the insanity that I have seen, because holy crap, dude, it is just nuts. And I'm on whatever side is not the sides that I'm showing you. So, this right here, this tweet particularly from Randy Fine says, there is a reason the first time I shook Netanyahu's hand, I did not wash it until I could touch the heads of my children. What? Are you kidding me? This is absolutely like, what type of level of retardation are we dealing with here? This is a Florida state representative right here. I am blown away by what I'm seeing. But let's let's not act like that's the only nonsense that we're hearing, because then you have, on the complete opposite side, you have Candace Owens saying things like this.
LG19 writes, serious question, will there be jobs or community military members can join when I get a dishonorable discharge for not contributing to delete people or my body for the interests of a certain foreign nation benefit? I love this question. I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda, and that appears so, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares? Who cares? Why should you go die in a foreign land? You now have the benefit of 2020. You can see, think about those men and those women who died because they were pitched that they were serving their country because there were weapons of mass destruction, right? They were serving their country because the Taliban, they were serving their country, whatever, and these people gave up their lives. And ask yourselves, for what? And the answer to that question is for the elites. They're like toy soldiers. And I would have said a few weeks ago that Trump would never do that to you. He would never just throw you into an Israeli war. But right now, our planes are flying in the sky, and things are going nuclear. So I don't have that confidence anymore. And I'm comfortable with people being dishonorably discharged, because the dishonor has come from our politicians. The dishonor has come from our politicians who routinely lie in our faces and are willing to let us die to serve their financial interests. So why don't they dishonorably discharge themselves from public office?
So this is the level of shit that you're having. On one side, you have this nut job saying that the first time that he shook Netanyahu's hand, he did not wash it until he could touch the heads of his children. This is a congressman for the state of Florida. And on the other side, you have Candace Owens saying, yeah, just get dishonorably discharged. Like, this is just fucking wild, dude. Yeah, so it's unbelievable that this is where we are. And of course, you have people calling for the impeachment of President Trump, even though nothing has happened. Nothing has happened from the United States standpoint. And it is crazy right now, dealing with absolute insanity across the board. So, and of course, the level of fake news that's out there, there's been an unbelievable amount of fake news that has just been everywhere. Everybody seems to have an understanding of what's going on. Everyone has sources. Everyone has spoken with officials. And it's just like yesterday when I went live, because it was reported that President Trump was going to address the nation. Not true. Not true. None of this stuff has been true. Twitter was a mistake. I don't really consider Twitter the problem. I consider, like, because I've talked about it many times before when it comes to, like, when people say ban TikTok or whatever, TikTok's not the problem. People are going to have whatever opinions they want to have, and you can't really stop that. You know, I can only take things that I can deal with and look at and make an opinion on. And so if I'm constantly being told that so-and-so is paid off by Israel, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, let's find out if this is true. And then I see a lot of cases where that's more than likely true. Then I hear those same people tell me that I'm paid off by Israel because I don't have the exact opinion they want me to have. And at that point in time, you lose all credibility. I don't care what you have to say at that point in time. Because one thing I do know for sure, I'm not paid off by anybody but my chat. But so when you say that, I immediately lose any interest to take you seriously ever again. I literally had to Google what Mossad meant because somebody told me that I was bought and paid off by Mossad. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck Mossad is. I have no idea. I had to Google it to find out what it was. Yet I'm apparently bought and paid for by Mossad. Didn't even know what the fuck it was. I'm like, okay, what the fuck am I paid off by? Oh, really? Okay. I was like, Jesus. So anyway, the whole thing is just really fucking retarded. And so I take very few of those accusations seriously when I get caught up in it. Because I'm like, well, if you're accusing me, I know for a fact I'm not. So you've already lost credibility for me to take you seriously anytime that you complain about that. So what I do when I see tweets like this, though, this guy is 100% bought and paid for by Israel, 1,000%, because he's telling you point blank that he is. There's no dispute to be had right here. This man can never be taken seriously. No opinion that he shares should ever be taken seriously. This man has absolutely no right. And by the way, like this tweet was made last year. This tweet was made last year. So it's just wild, dude. Wild, to say the least. And then you had the Ted Cruz, Tucker Carlson situation, which has just been awesome to watch. So initially, I saw the clip that Tucker Carlson released where he questioned Ted Cruz about, how many people were in Iran. And I'm like, oh, damn, that's bad. And the clip was bad for sure. And I'm not a fan of Ted Cruz. To be clear, I'm not a fan of Ted Cruz. And I'm a fan of Tucker Carlson. I'm not a fan of Ted Cruz. So when I saw that clip, I was like, oh man, that's bad. Then I watched I won't say I watched all of the interview. I watched about 60 or 70% of the interview. I actually think the interview was pretty good. I thought it was a good back and forth between two guys that agree on probably 75% of stuff, maybe even 80% of stuff, and then they have some disagreements. I didn't think it was like the bloodbath that people are trying to portray it to be when you actually watch everything within the context of it. I thought it was a good discussion. I think Tucker got the better of Ted Cruz for sure, but I thought it was a good discussion. I mean, like ultimately, ultimately, people need to sit down and have disagreements. But I do think, like, I mean, Tucker clearly had a couple of questions that he was like, I'm going to pull a gotcha on him. And then the memes that came from it were pretty great as well. I've been enjoying the memes. Some dude says, only been here for a bit. Glad to be here, though. Hail 199. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, man. Logan Miller with 5 get the memberships. Thank you. Logan, appreciate it. Why are we waiting? Is it like, am I on the wrong feed here? Like, it feels like, I don't know why we're waiting for this. Let me make sure I'm not missing something. Yeah, I guess we don't have anything yet. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Gunny Slate says, as a combat vet, most of the IED that we encountered came from Iran. The training they were getting came from Iran. They've been killing us for years. Well, I mean, look, you may be a combat vet and you may actually have experience and knowledge, but someone on Twitter with more followers knows more than you. That's how we're supposed to look at it. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic. Thank you for your service. But that's how we're supposed to take things, is like, hey, this guy that has a lot of Twitter followers, he knows more than President Trump. This guy that has a podcast, he knows more than President Trump. That's the way we're supposed to look at this whole thing. But thank you for your service, sir. Queenie says, if we get our info from self-proclaimed retards, what does that make us? I mean, I couldn't even say proclaimed, so that kind of puts it into perspective. Dan A says, if Trump declares war, they will protest his actions. If Trump doesn't declare war, the same people will protest his actions. Yes, he is literally in a situation where nothing he does, again, they already want him impeached for something he hasn't done. They already want him impeached for something he hasn't even done. Josie says, I absolutely love how Trump keeps everyone guessing. All it does is reveal the flip-flops, the fake MAGA enthusiast. 100%. 100%. And I'm loving that, man. This is why I have no desire to collab with people, dude. I see so many people that are just like so many frauds and fakes out there. And I'm like, dude, good Lord. Key says, now you're paid off by Israel. Cope, hail the 199. There it is. There it is. You see it? Mossad has me, everyone. It's over. They're doing it through super chats now. Thank you for the 10. I mean, I would have preferred a little bit more if this is directly from Israel, but I'll take what I can get. Den Hawkins says Jeremy is gay, and it looks like we might get crowned Prince of Persia back in control. It seems to be Trump's end game, most likely. There are no boots on the ground and no power vacuum. I mean, ultimately, that's what Trump's working to do. Trump is working to get peace. I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's clearly what his goal is, if you're actually paying attention to Donald Trump and not everyone else that's, just making so much noise for God knows whatever reason. So it's like criticizing Trump is perfectly fine. I even said it. Tucker Carlson criticized Trump. According to Trump, Tucker Carlson called him and apologized. But I had no problem with Tucker's criticism of President Trump. I thought Tucker's criticism of President Trump was fine. I think it's okay to question him. I think it's okay to look at this situation and go, hey, if you go down this road, this is not a good path, and this could hurt the credibility and the foundation of your movement. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I thought those were good points that Tucker Carlson made. But I see the comparisons, and again, so what's always been the problem with the left is that when you compare everybody to Hitler, then you've completely taken all credibility away from having any legitimate points moving forward. If Trump is Hitler, then I don't take you seriously. Now, even Alex Jones is comparing Trump to George W. Bush. I can't take you seriously if you're going to compare Trump to George W. Bush. Like, I can't do it. Like, it's the most insane thing you could possibly do. And I will not take you seriously moving forward at that point in time. Anybody that compares Trump to George W. Bush. So here she is right here.
President Trump's powerful efforts to secure our homeland are working. According to newly released numbers, last month, Border Patrol saw a 93% decrease of illegal aliens crossing the southwest border between ports of entry from May 2024 under Joe Biden, when they encountered more than 117,000 illegal aliens. And this particular statistic is absolutely astounding. In the month of May, under the Trump administration, 0 illegal aliens were released into our country by Border Patrol. Let me say that again. Not a single illegal alien was released into the interior of the United States of America last month under this administration. Let's contrast that to Joe Biden's failed leadership, where immigration officers were wasting their finite time and resources processing dangerous illegal aliens for release into the United States. President Trump immediately terminated that reckless Biden-era practice that undermined the rule of law, jeopardized public safety and our national security, and diverted critical resources away from stopping deadly drugs and violent criminals from entering our country. That's the reason why not a single illegal alien was released into the interior of the United States in the month of May. And as a result, we now have a border that is reaching unprecedented levels of operational success. The efforts by President Trump to stop the illegal immigrant invasion and secure the border in this short amount of time represent one of the greatest achievements by a presidential administration in the history of our great country. With illegal entries being overwhelmingly halted, the Trump administration is dramatically ramping up efforts to arrest and deport all of the millions of criminal illegal aliens that Joe Biden let into our country over the past 4 years. President Trump has directed all of our ICE officers to do everything in their power to carry out the single largest mass deportation operation in history. Illegal criminals who are hiding in America's largest so-called sanctuary cities will be increasingly targeted for removal. Radical Democrats will no longer be allowed to shelter illegals who threaten public safety as part of their
I'll read this again,
efforts
Sean.
to expand political power, drain the American taxpayer, and artificially lower wages and steal American jobs. ICE officers are courageous heroes, upholding the rule of law and keeping our citizens safe. And they have the full and unwavering support of this president. In economic news, President Trump's pro-growth agenda is delivering for the American worker. Through the first 5 months of the Trump administration, real blue-collar wages are up nearly 2%. It's the strongest growth in nearly 60 years, and a stark contrast from the negative wage growth seen during the first 5 months of the Biden administration. America is quickly returning to the successful formula of the first Trump administration: low inflation and rising wages. Once the big, beautiful bill is passed, this positive trend will only accelerate. Senate Republicans are continuing to push this critical legislation forward. The One Big Beautiful Bill will drive growth and supercharge the American economy. The Council of Economic Advisors found that the One Big Beautiful Bill will raise take-home pay by nearly $14,000 for a year for the average family of 4. The CEA also found that the One Big Beautiful Bill will increase wages as much as $11,000 for the average worker in America. The One Big Beautiful Bill expands the child tax credit and makes it permanent for more than 40 million families with children. And the bill will deliver no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and substantial tax cuts for our incredible seniors. Simply put, the One Big Beautiful Bill is a massive win for middle-class Americans. When nearly 80 million Americans sent President Trump back to this White House, they were doing so expecting these popular policies to be enacted. Republicans in Congress have a mandate to deliver, and President Trump demands they send this historic bill to his desk for signature by Independence Day, July 4th. The American people are fully behind President Trump. According to brand new polling from Insider Advantage, a clear 54% majority of Americans approve of the job President Trump is doing. That's because this president is keeping his promises and taking action every day to improve their lives. And passing this bill will help fulfill a number of President Trump's core campaign promises. Now, regarding the ongoing situation in Iran, I know there has been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision-making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks." That's a quote directly from the president for all of you today. So we'll kick it off for questions here in our new mediacy. We have Eli Lake from the Free Press. Eli, go ahead. And great.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
The Free Press. The decision to extend the, I guess, delay in enforcing the TikTok ban.
Sure.
Can you talk about how the White House understands its constitutional authority in light of the Supreme Court's decision in January that said that the president had to enforce the ban?
Sure. Well, as all of you know, because the president put it out on his Truth Social today, he did sign an executive order to extend the TikTok ban for 90 days. So in the effort to make a deal, and White House counsel and the Department of Justice have reviewed this executive order, and I can get it for you. I think it's on our website by now. If it's not, my team will now put it up immediately. And you can read the language in that executive order. And the White House counsel's office and the Department of Justice strongly believe in the legal rationale for this executive order. They wouldn't have the president's pen hit it if they didn't. And the political reasoning for this, of course, is because the president made a promise to keep TikTok on. There are 100 million Americans who use this app. It's wildly popular. He also wants to protect Americans' data and privacy concerns on this app, and he believes we can do both things at the same time. So he's making an extension so we can get this deal done.
Can I get a follow-up?
Sure.
A few weeks ago, Tucker-Carlson reported on a meeting between the president, Mark Levin, and others at the White House. Is there a leak investigation, and can you say who else was in that meeting?
I'm not aware of a leak investigation at this time. I, for one, do not reveal details about the president's private meetings without his permission to do so. But certainly the president does not like when people leak. He takes that very seriously. This entire administration takes that seriously. And that's why you've seen at agencies, some of the cabinet secretaries have been given the authority by the president to let go of staff who are engaged in such leaks, especially those that risk American national security. Sure. Go ahead.
Caroline, thank you. So Rhino warmonger Lindsey Graham, he recently called on the U.S. to go all in.
That's quite the lead to a question.
Right.
It's true.
What's your message to everyday Trump supporters? Not the Tucker Carlsons or other big names, but everyday Trump supporters, grassroots who voted for President Trump to stop the wars, rejected this in the primary, going into another war, but voting against Nikki Haley. And they want to see non-U.S. involvement in this war. What's your message?
Trust in President Trump. President Trump has incredible instincts, and President Trump kept America and the world safe in his first term as president in implementing a peace through strength foreign policy agenda. And with respect to Iran, nobody should be surprised by the president's position that Iran absolutely cannot obtain a nuclear weapon. He's been unequivocally clear about this for decades, not just as president, not just as a presidential candidate, but also as a private citizen. In fact, I have some quotes for you. In 2011, President Trump said, "America's primary goal with Iran must be to destroy its nuclear ambitions. We cannot allow this radical regime to acquire a nuclear weapon that they will either use or hand off to terrorists." In 2015, the president said, "The problem is that Iran poses an existential threat to Israel, our Middle Eastern allies, and the United States." And of course, the president has repeated that.
I appreciate this, but this isn't the problem, and I think she knows this. The problem is Netanyahu, or whatever his fucking name is, he's been crying about them being 2 weeks away from a nuke since like 1985. And he's the one that doesn't have credibility, not Trump.
But he's been very clear. Iran went for 60 days when he gave them that 60-day warning without coming to the table. On day 61, Israel took action against Iran. And as I just told you from the president directly, he will make a decision within 2 weeks.
A follow-up?
Sure. Go ahead, Natalie.
Thanks, Caroline. Can you confirm whether Steve Witkoff has been in touch with the Iranian foreign minister? And does Witkoff plan to go to Geneva tomorrow for talks?
I am not tracking that on Mr. Witkoff's travel schedule, but I can certainly check in with him to be sure. As for correspondence between the United States and the Iranians, I can confirm that correspondence has continued. As you know, we were engaged with 6 rounds of negotiations with them in both indirect and direct ways.
Thanks, Kelly. Just to clarify the president's statement just now, when he says that he'll make a decision in the next 2 weeks, is he saying that if Iran does not come back to the negotiating table within the next 2 weeks, that the president will strike?
The president is saying that he will make a decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. It's very clear and direct.
And is he seeing any signs of progress? He obviously is holding out hope for negotiations, but is he seeing any inklings of progress that give him that hope that talks are still possible?
Well, that's why he said in the statement that I just read for all of you, based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, he will make that decision within the next 2 weeks.
What makes him think there's still a substantial chance is my question.
I'm not going to get into the reasoning and the rationale the president believes that, but that's his position, and he will make a decision within the next 2 weeks.
Caroline.
Sure.
Thanks, Caroline. President Trump has said previously in regard to Russia, he's used this phrase about 2 weeks several times in terms of like, we expect like a 2-week deadline and then you give another 2-week deadline. How can we be sure that he's going to stick to this one on making a decision on Iran?
Well, in those deadlines, as you've seen in respect to Russia, Ukraine, might I add, these are two very different, complicated global conflicts, as you know, that the president inherited from our previous incompetent president in the weakness of the previous administration. And the president has spent a tremendous amount of time and effort cleaning up these crises that were caused by the last administration's just complete dereliction of duty on the world stage and American weakness. Now we have American strength again. With respect to Russia and Ukraine, because of that American strength, and the president's leadership, we have seen these two sides engage in direct negotiations. And the last time the president said 2 weeks, you saw Russia and Ukraine have direct negotiations for the first time in years. And so the president is always interested in a diplomatic solution to the problems and the global conflicts in this world. Again, he is a peacemaker in chief. He is the peace through strength president. And so if there's a chance for diplomacy, the president's always going to grab it. But he's not afraid to use strength as well, I will add. Francesca.
Thanks, Caroline. What exactly would a deal with Iran need to entail?
No enrichment of a uranium, and it would absolutely not. Iran is not absolutely not able to achieve a nuclear weapon. The president has been very clear about that. And by the way, the deal that Special Envoy Witkoff proposed to the Iranians was both realistic and acceptable within its terms, and that's why the president is sent that deal to them.
To follow up on what you told Natalie, are the talks that the United States is currently having with Iran direct, or are those through intermediaries? And if so, which countries are acting as the intermediary right now?
Out of respect for the ongoing discussions and negotiations, I'm not going to get into the details of them. We've provided you confirmation for now. Go ahead. Sure. And then behind you too.
Oh, thanks. Sorry. On the topic of negotiations and talks, does the president have any hopes or specific expectations for the talks tomorrow between European foreign secretaries and their Iranian counterpart?
Well, certainly the entire world is on the president's side when it comes to the fact that Iran cannot obtain a nuclear weapon. This is something that pretty much all of humanity, except for the Iranian terrorist regime themselves, agree upon. And so the president expects that Europe will deliver that message directly to the Iranians.
Why does President Trump believe that this 90-day extension on TikTok will provide more runway perhaps than the previous extensions that haven't led to a divestment deal?
Because it's more time to make a good deal. Simple question. Dasha?
Thank you so much. I know things are going day by day right now. The president wants maximum optionality. Is the possibility of the U.S. getting involved in regime change in Iran at all on the table at this point? And
Sure. The president's top priority right now is ensuring that Iran cannot obtain a nuclear weapon and providing peace and stability in the Middle East.
On Medicaid, Caroline,
Sure.
The Senate put forward Medicaid provisions, particularly a lower cap on state provider taxes that hospitals have said would lead to mass closures, particularly in rural communities. Is the president willing to sign a bill that includes those provisions that Republican senators like Josh Hawley say will lead to hospital closures?
Out of respect for the ongoing discussions that the White House is very much actively involved in with our friends in the United States Senate, I won't comment on that specific provision. Look, the bill hasn't been sent to the president's desk yet. There's more room for change. The president, for one, I will reiterate, has been very clear on his priorities with respect to Medicaid. He wants to see waste, fraud, and abuse ridden from the system to protect it for tax-paying citizens who deserve those much-needed benefits. He wants to prioritize the sick, the needy, the poor in this country who deserve those benefits, not the 1.4 million illegal aliens who are receiving them. And he wants to make sure this one big, beautiful bill kicks those illegal aliens off of this program to preserve it and protect it and strengthen it for the American people. And the president has been very clear in that message to his friends in the Senate. Jackie.
Thank you, Caroline.
Sure.
Logistically, if the Iranians are getting to Geneva, does that mean they found a way to get to the White House?
I am not going to get into hypotheticals, but as you heard from the president yesterday, they have expressed interest in doing so. Philip.
Pressure on the president to come to the aid of Israel. There's a lot of pressure on him to finish the job with force. How is he balancing the concern that if he doesn't choose to do that, that it would send a message to Xi Jinping about the U.S. commitment to Taiwan?
Well, the president enjoys a very respectful and cordial relationship with China's president. He has long maintained that, even in his first term. And China and the United States share many strategic interests, both in terms of economics and also, of course, global affairs and foreign policy as well. However, when it comes to balancing these different viewpoints, the president is balancing a lot of viewpoints, and he is listening not just to other world leaders, but to his advisors and to people here in the country and the American people too. And I think that's what makes this president such a great leader, is his ability to listen and make a good decision on behalf of the American public based on his instincts and his experience. Don't forget, this is a president who was here before, and the world was a much more peaceful and stable place when he left office than when he came back in after the past 4 years of complete incompetence by the previous president. Philip, go ahead.
Thank you, Caroline. Two quick questions. When the president says Iran is very close to a nuclear weapon, is he relying on U.S. intelligence or intelligence sharing from an ally to make that assessment?
It is
It's a good question.
fact,
It's a good
and
question.
the United States government maintains this fact that Iran has never been closer to obtaining a nuclear weapon.
And then if the U.S. were to take some type of military action, would the president go to Congress to seek war authority?
I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals. I gave you the statement from the president. He'll make a decision within 2 weeks. Sure. Go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline.
Mary and then Elizabeth.
Two questions, one on Iran and then the second on something Jasmine Crockett said this morning. So given that we know the Iranian government did order an operative to assassinate the president, is there concern that Iran might respond with non-traditional military ways to some kind of strike on Iran, such as another assassination attempt? And has the Department of Justice looked into this last attempt on the president's life?
I believe Secret Service and the FBI have looked into the 2 assassination attempts that took place against the president, both of which were sad days in our nation's history. So I would defer you to the Department of Justice on where those investigations stand. But as for your question regarding Iranian retaliation, I'm not going to engage in hypotheticals again, but I can assure the American public and the world that this administration is prepared and ready to defend American interests and assets, not just in the region, but here on our homeland as well.
Thank you. And then really quick on Jasmine Crockett, she said, I believe, that Trump supporters are mentally ill before calling for bipartisan support against the president. Can you respond to that, especially considering she's a rising star in the Democrat Party right now?
She is a rising star. It's quite something to behold, actually. I hope that she continues to be a rising star for the Republican Party, at least. I think it's incredibly derogatory to accuse nearly 80 million Americans of mental illness. The last time I checked, Jasmine Crockett couldn't dream of winning such a majority of the public as President Trump did. And the America First movement, which President Trump has built, is filled of hardworking patriots, the forgotten men and women, business owners, law enforcement officers, nurses and teachers, and middle America, as we all know, from where you all grew up outside of this beltway. That's who makes up this president's movement. And Jasmine Crockett should go to a Trump rally sometime and she can see it for herself.
One on North Korea. And
Legalize
adulthood.
adulthood!
On North Korea, they launched some rockets into the ocean today. What does the White House make of that? Do you read any meaning into that timing of that launch? And then on China, are you?
I'll read it.
giving
I'll read it when
reaction
she's
to
done.
Xi
Legalize
Jinping's
adulthood.
offer
Mad
of
lad.
intervening in Iran diplomatically? And are you seeing any signs that China would get involved militarily to support Iran?
I don't believe we're seeing any signs of that at this moment in time. As for Xi Jinping's offer, I will leave it to the president to respond to that himself. As for your question about North Korea, we are monitoring the situation. The Trump administration is in close contact with our new South Korean counterparts as we work together to deter our adversaries and preserve a free and open Indo-Pacific. And no matter where, our adversaries and our allies alike know that President Trump will not tolerate threats against our interests on his watch, even as he works to resolve the wars that he inherited. Alex, go ahead, and then I'll come to you.
Thank you. Is the president concerned about the economy if farms and hotels, et cetera, struggle to find workers?
President's always concerned about the economy. That's on his mind every day. He wakes up, he checks the markets, he checks wage growth. As I pointed out, it's a record high today for middle class and American workers. So the president's always wanting to ensure that we have a strong and robust economy for the American people and worker, and we do. As for the specific concerns regarding jobs, look, the president has made it very clear we need to remove public safety threats from the interior of our country. And that remains the focus and the priority of this administration when it comes to deportations, no matter where somebody works. If they're an illegal alien rapist or murderer that was allowed into this country in the past 4 years by this administration, the American people want those types of criminals to be deported from our country. And that's what the president is backing ICE to do.
There was an apparent skirmish between the Chinese and the Philippines in the South China Sea. Just curious if you had any reaction to that, and if the steps you're taking towards the Middle East right now are reducing your capacity to deal with that situation.
I believe that happened as I was preparing and coming out here, so we'll get you a response to that. Certainly we have one, and our teams are always monitoring situations all around the globe.
Okay, and then one more just on Iran. Just over the past 24 hours, we've seen some Israeli strikes on Natanz, Isfahan, and Kondab nuclear facilities. Is there any assessment just of how effective or what the result of those strikes will be?
What I can share is that the IDF and Israel, I think, have exceeded a lot of people's expectations in their ability to really hinder Iran's nuclear facilities, but also they've taken out key people in the Iranian regime's leadership as well. So this is something, of course, we are monitoring and watching every day. And the president was just in an intelligence briefing. He continues to be briefed by his National Security Council, and he will throughout the duration of this war and conflict. And he also remains in constant communication with our Israeli counterparts, most notably Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Kristen.
Even she struggles to
We
say
have heard
it.
from a number of U.S. officials who say that Iran doesn't want to make a deal, that they are just stringing the United States along. What is to say that they are not going to continue to do so if we continue to give them extensions now 2 weeks before 60 days?
Look, Iran is in a very weak and vulnerable position because of the strikes and the attacks from Israel. And with respect to the president's statement, I shared that with all of you. And he has been very direct and clear. Iran can and should make a deal. We sent a deal to them that was practical, that was realistic, or they will face grave consequences.
Why is Steve Witkoff not participating in the talks this week?
I can ask Mr. Witkoff why he is not.
Thanks, Caroline. Does the president object if Israel attempts its own operation against Fordo in the next 2 weeks?
I won't decide that for the president, nor will I share that here. I'll let him speak to that.
Just another one. Iran is apparently warning Europeans that if struck by the U.S., it may withdraw from the nuclear proliferation treaty. That would result in throwing out inspectors and taking the program dark. What does the president think of the value of having Iran as a full signatory of that treaty?
Well, that's reckless rhetoric, but I understand the Europeans are meeting with the Iranians tomorrow, so we'll see how that meeting goes.
Just one
Nikki,
more
go
on
ahead. Go
Juneteenth.
ahead.
Does the
Nikki.
president plan to commemorate the holiday today or make any comment on it?
I'm not tracking his signature on a proclamation today. I know this is a federal holiday. I want to thank all of you for showing up to work. We are certainly here. We're working 24/7 right now. Nikki, go ahead.
Actually, that was my question. Will he plan to mark Juneteenth in any way, either today or with an event later on, maybe next week?
Sure. I just answered that question for you. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Caroline. The fact that this president is giving some time and space for diplomacy, another 2 weeks, does it mean that the president is trying his best to avoid a direct conflict with Iran?
I think the president has made it clear he always wants to pursue diplomacy. But believe me, the president is unafraid to use strength if necessary. And Iran and the entire world should know that the United States military is the strongest and most lethal fighting force in the world. And we have capabilities that no other country on this planet possesses. Owen.
Caroline, good afternoon. The Supreme Court, as you know, has upheld Tennessee's ban on transgender medical procedures for minors, puberty blockers, hormone therapy, etc. The White House reaction to that, please.
It's a huge victory for America's children, and it's obviously something this administration believes strongly in, that young minor children should not be allowed to be subjected to chemical castration and mutilation. The president himself has taken very strong orders, or has signed very strong executive orders on this. And we are grateful for Tennessee's efforts to protect our children. And we are grateful the Supreme Court ruled on the side of the law, but also on the side of protecting America's innocent children. Elizabeth, go ahead. Sorry, I skipped you earlier.
Okay, thank you so much. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced new vetting procedures on student visas. Will this serve as a model for vetting other foreign visas?
For all foreign visas, yes. As you know, the president signed an executive order. I think it was one of the first he signed in the first week to strengthen our vetting requirements and our vetting system here in the United States for all visas. He directed the Secretary of State to do that. There was a pause in some of that vetting, as you all know, recently, especially with respect to students from some certain countries. But the vetting has continued and it's stronger than ever before. As for specifics on how the vetting process has changed, I would defer you to the Department of State. As you know, they're in charge of things like that.
Thank you. To what extent is this 2-week delay with Iran the result of interventions by the likes of Tucker-Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, or the entreaties of European leaders who want a de-escalation?
Look, the president hears all voices across the country and he makes decisions based on his instincts. And he has always said diplomacy is his first option.
And is he still planning to attend the NATO summit next week?
He is, yes. We will be departing from Washington on Monday morning and hopefully we'll see some of you there. Kayla.
Thanks, Caroline. Oil prices have been spiking over the last week. Is the president watching the oil market, and is that factoring into his decision making in the Middle East?
Again, as I said to, I think, Alex's question previously, the president is always watching, and this administration is doing more than any in history to bring oil prices and gas prices here at home down for the American public. They have been plummeting since President Trump's inauguration because of the executive action and the federal action this administration has taken on the home front. But yes, of course, he's paying attention and monitoring that. But as for whether it's weighing into his decision, there's a number of factors that, of course, are. And as I said, he will make that decision in the next 2 weeks. Can't reiterate that enough. Ouija.
Caroline, thank you. With regard to a potential deal, Iran has said it will not negotiate under duress. Does the president believe there should be a ceasefire in these next 2 weeks as the U.S. tries to broker?
She's not going to answer that.
That's not what he said in the statement he dictated to me, so I won't get ahead of the president or add anything additional to the statement.
Why do they
that he gave
ask
me delivered
obvious
to share with
questions
all
she
of you.
can't answer? She's
Follow up
not
on
going to
how
answer.
close Iran is to a nuclear weapon. Can you clarify, when the president said a few weeks away, did he mean obtaining enough enriched uranium to start building a weapon, or did he mean Iran is a few weeks away from completing the production of a weapon?
I'm glad you asked that, Ouija. It's an important question, and it's one, frankly, the media has been getting wrong. Let's be very clear. Iran has all that it needs to achieve a nuclear weapon. All they need is a decision from the supreme leader to do that. And it would take a couple of weeks to complete the production of that weapon, which would, of course, pose an existential threat, not just to Israel, but to the United States and to the entire world. And that is something that the entire world, including countries like Russia, is in agreement with, that Iran should not and cannot obtain a nuclear weapon. And that's why the president believes that. And he's believed that, again, not just his political career, but frankly, his entire life.
So it
Michael.
sounds like it's the former, just to be clear. that
Correct.
They have the components. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Michael.
Caroline, as we look forward to the NATO summit next week, Spain right now is threatening not to oblige the president's request for all NATO countries to spend at least 5% of their GDP. Does the president take issue with this, with Spain right now?
I didn't see Spain's comments. I'll make sure the president sees them, and I can assure you he wants to see all European countries pay their fair share and meet that 5% threshold. It's only fair considering the American taxpayers have given a significant chunk of money to the tune of billions of dollars to support our mutual interests and our assured defense. So I will let him speak to that, but he's made his priorities for our European allies quite clear, including Spain.
Caroline, one last question. When it comes to the president's position on foreign policy in general, is there a phrase that the White House has coined? Is there a Trump doctrine? Does the president like to talk about this? Anyone here in the White House talking about this? And if so, if there is something akin to a Trump doctrine, how would you define it?
America first, always. And with that, I think I'll leave you. I know there's a lot of news in the world right now. As you know, our team is always here to answer your questions. And the president, I am sure, will take more questions from you guys at some point this week, as he always does in the effort of transparency. I appreciate your being here on a federal holiday, and we'll see you later. Thank you.
All right. So there is the press briefing, and the major takeaway is obviously what she said about President Trump's statement. And of course, you've got everybody and their brother are going to run with something different, but this is it right here. You know, President Trump is hoping to have peace negotiations. We'll see if that happens. But she's very, very good. She's very, very good at what she does. So we got legalized adulthood for a proper 199. I see you, ABF. Says Dave Rubin called. He says, I told ya homomania is big in Iran. I was wondering where the hell you were going with that one. And I told you to lay off the booze for a while. Seriously, in my opinion, Trump 2.0 is not being duped or misled by neocon advisors, leading him down the path of failure. Remember, art of the deal. I trust him. I 100% agree. Legalize adulthood. That is exactly where I'm at with it. I trust President Trump. I don't trust Twitter accounts or podcasters. I trust President Trump. So that's pretty much where I'm at with it as well. Alec Baldwin's finger for a proper 199 says, here is some more Mossad money. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Bought and paid for by Mossad. Had to Google Mossad to find out who was paying me. Alec Baldwin's finger. He don't miss. And that is just a fact. As a matter of fact, we always have a question when ABF shows up.
Who the fuck is Alec Baldwin's finger?
There it is right there. Thank you, ABF. You and legalized adulthood are just insane. I appreciate both of you. Thank you so much. Let's see. Michael says you're now bought and paid for. Yep, there it is. Happy birthday Juneteenth, Jeremy. Yes, it is Juneteenth. Look, this one kind of flew under the radar because there's been so much news out there. But the Trump administration will be officially terminate the National LGBTQ plus Youth Suicide Lifeline on June 17th. The meltdown that has been going on over this has been absolutely glorious. All right. It's like, you know, you can just call the regular one, right? Like you don't need your own. You could just call the regular one. Why do you need your own hotline? What? So, yeah, that story has kind of flown under the radar. And to be clear, I didn't really know there was one. The fact that there was a specific LGBTQ plus hotline is crazy. So there you go right there. All right. Now, so right before we got the White House press secretary and the briefing, we were getting reports from Reuters saying that Iran and U.S. will hold direct talks. I think that that's probably going to happen. I think that it probably has already been set up, but I don't think that Trump's going to announce it. You know, I think that he's going to be. Why would he announce it? So, but again, who knows, man? Everything we've heard in the past several days, almost nothing has been true unless we've heard it directly from the administration. Yet everyone has ran with news that, you know, none of it's been true. None of it. Did you hear about AB? Is there a new update on AB? I mean, I know AB was wanted in Florida. But I don't see if I don't see any updates or anything like that. So let's see here. Hunter says hail drunk high MAGA. Fuck around, find out. Thank you, Hunter. And then Sean Living Life. This is on the clip I played earlier. As someone that served in the Army, I have such a triggering reaction to someone advising soldiers to choose to be dishonorably discharged. That is such horrible advice. Candace is beyond retarded. That is one of the worst takes I have ever heard. But like somebody asked me the other day, like, how do I feel about Candace Owens? And I said, I'm not really a fan of Candace Owens. She seems to flip flop her opinions based on whatever's convenient for her. So that's another case of her just kind of like Candace is kind of moving into that, like that direction that she's moving in, and she's all in, and then she will flip on it in a minute. I mean, she literally worked for the Daily Wire carrying Ben Shapiro's water for years because she got a contract. And now that she's not under contract with Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, now she's like the complete opposite of what she was at the Daily Wire. CG says, if you like Netflix, Yahoo, okay, fine. He's allowed to. The message, though, creepy AF. He makes him out to be a deity, just too far. Well, yeah, I mean, that comment, and I don't have it pulled up right now, from Randy Fines, that his name, is absolutely sick. Darren for a 199, thank you. Zach Attack says, Candace now becoming the anti-Ben Shapiro. Ben thinks Israel does no wrong, while Candace thinks Israel can do no right. They both suck, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with it too. Pisces with the mugshot pic emoji. Axel Jensen says, Jeremy's getting paid all this money by Mossad and doesn't even bless the chat with memberships. Did I just lisp? Bless. Long and disgruntled with one gifted membership. Thank you. SVT Junkie says, stay black. GC says, today's holiday, it was a typo, should be June 199. Darth Cactus says, gotta love BBBs. Oracle of Doom says, you Geeks and Gamers, Gary, Az, Ripa, and Ryan are the only media that I actually trust. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Mac Jerry says, can I volunteer for a space in the 199 underground bunker if World War III breaks out? I can't offer much, but I can talk shit, and I've seen Interstellar 4 times. This is the requirement to become part of Geeks and Gamers. How many times have you seen Interstellar, and can you talk shit? That's really all it takes. That's all it takes. Can you talk shit? And how many times have you seen Interstellar? That's it. Andrew CR says, 2 more weeks to slow the spread of WMDs. Now that's a meme. That's a good meme too. Vault 95 says, lunchtime CobraCast. Now my day is made. Keenan says, did you see the Showtime series Brotherhood? I don't think so. It's one of the reasons why, and next Thursday, I think we're planning on doing, start the Band of Brothers watch party on Locals next Thursday. So a week from today. But the reason I haven't seen a lot of HBO series or Showtime series, things like that, I didn't have any of those channels. You know, when I was working week to week as a retail worker, and I was barely making ends meet. I wasn't getting those premium channels. I didn't have money for that shit. AJ says, just ordered the Uncle IDOT shirt. Hail the 199. Let's freaking go. Let me pull that link up right now. For the Uncle IDOT shirt. Where is it? So many links. Here we go. All right. The Uncle IDOT shirt right there. Available. I think it'll be available for another week. And then we're going to be pulling it. So if you're interested, go over to Teespring right now and check it out. The Uncle IDOT shirt. What? Jeremy worked retail? I know. Shocking, isn't it? Very, very shocking that I worked retail. I've never talked about that before. So again, you're constantly seeing updates like this on social media. Breaking, Trump administration makes new offer to Iran developing. Seems like Trump is doing everything in his power to seek peace. But this is before the White House press briefing. And these are the updates that we're constantly getting. Now, obviously, I believe that theory is true, but we'll see one report that says that Trump is seeking peace, and then we'll see another report that says Trump has made the decision to get involved. It's crazy. And again, thank you, Legalize Adulthood, for the proper 199 and the 20 gifted memberships. Thank you, sir. Andrew CR says, Mr. Secretary, why is Jeremy so gay? Chester Wolf the Griffin says, hate to say it, but it's the truth. Isn't it real convenient that when gas prices get too low, a war starts and the price of oil skyrockets? It is interesting, isn't it? Dan Says Iran has been a couple of weeks away from a nuclear weapon since 1979. Hail the 199. Yeah, and then I don't know if you've seen that clip of Netflix Yahoo saying that, but it's true. And that's it's not that I'm questioning Trump. I'm questioning Netflix Yahoo. I'm like, why has this guy been talking why has this guy been saying the same thing for like 30 years? Let me see if I can find that clip right now. I've had so many clips lately. And then like people will say like Trump will I saw this clip yesterday. People are like, Trump will never criticize Israel or Netflix Yahoo. So I saw this clip from the 2023 campaign. And but I'm told by the same people that said Trump will never criticize Israel, and he's never criticized Israel, and he's never criticized Netflix Yahoo. Those same people were cheering when this happened.
We followed the whole thing.
Audio's a little low.
About 15 seconds later, it was all over, and we did it. But I'll never forget that Bibi Netanyahu let us down. That was a very terrible thing. I will say that. And so when I see sometimes the intelligence, you talk about the intelligence, or you talk about some of the things that went wrong over the last week, they've got to straighten it out, because they're fighting potentially a very big force. They're fighting potentially Iran. And when they have people saying the wrong things, everything they say is being digested by these people, because they're vicious and they're smart. And boy, are they vicious, because nobody's ever seen the kind of sight that we've seen.
So yeah, I mean, like he's sitting here criticizing him. All the people in the comments of this post are going, Trump is so back. Oh, I'm so happy. These are the same people that are saying Trump works for him now. But I got news for all of you. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. It's over. Trump has just declared war. If Iran doesn't surrender in the next 24 hours, I am going to drop Chris Christie on them. Thank you. It's over. Iran is done. Iran is done. They are about to be wiped off the map. It's over. Kiss it goodbye. He didn't just say this, by the way. Look, the fact that I had to go look this shit up to see if Trump really said it or not speaks volumes. So Forest of the Tree sent this to me on Twitter. And when I saw it, I legitimately was like, did he really say this? Did Trump really say this? So I had to go to his True Social just to confirm if he did or didn't say it, because you don't know with Trump. You really don't know. Doc Hollywood, you owe us boobies 3 times for a proper 199. Holy crap, you are correct, sir. You are correct. I have to make this right. I have to make this right with the chat. The chat is very, very angry with me at the moment. Where the hell is it? Boom! There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Of course. Now you're happy. I'm just going to put it on a loop. I'll have to put it on a loop. So there's loop, 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 continuing to loop. And then somebody complained about this clip the other day. They really don't like this clip of Trump and the meme. And yeah, I can't do anything about it. This is proper 199 rules.
Should I do it?
Do not come.
Come on, baby. Come on. I'm going to do it.
Do not come.
I'm going to come. Beautiful white paint. It's coming down at 10,000 miles an hour. It's coming down at levels of speed that nobody ever even conceived of. Where it's rough, but it's coming, and now it's turned around. It turns around, and it's coming, and it's going to, I said, oh, because you see at that bottom, this section right here, that sucker's, oh.
Yeah, somebody was in my comments and they were really mad. It was a lady and she's like, I voted for Trump. You could play that woman, but don't you ever play that clip of him saying that horrendous stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to offend you, but at the same time, these are the rules of Cobra Cast. I don't make the rules up. So she was very angry. She was very, very angry. And I was like, I can't help you. I work for the chat. Zinny Biscuit 45 says this super chat is proof that Jeremy is bought and paid for by Putin, the Pope, and the Triple Crown winning trainer Bob Baffert. Bob Baffert. I haven't heard that name in a long time. What's up, Zinny Biscuit? Is he still around, Zinny Biscuit? I remember hearing him all the time, hearing his name all the time on when I watch ESPN. They used to talk about Bob Baffert all the time. Snooty Mims for 10 says, we still have Ukraine going on. Then the Soros plus NGO backed a protest. And now this. Americans don't want wars. Hail Jeremy and hail the 199. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, brother. Then our Dark Hawk says, that's what someone who would work for Mossad would say. I know that's exactly like there's no when you're dealing with the people that just accuse everyone of being controlled by the Jews, like it's just like they will always justify it no matter what. No, they will always justify it. But yeah, I'm glad I had to Google Mossad to find out what the fuck it meant. Let's see. We've got a 50 from Mark of Reality. Says, now they're chanting about leave Iran alone or whatever. These nuts don't care about any of these causes. All they really care about is hating America and Americans. It helps to remind oneself of that from time to time. It does. And thank you so much for the 50. I appreciate it. Mark of Reality. Yeah, I mean, right now, I'm just telling you right now, Twitter is an absolute war zone. It always has been a war zone, but specifically right now, Twitter is a shit show. It is a complete disaster. And it does no one any, it doesn't matter what you say, dude. Like, you're going to be fighting with somebody over the craziest shit in the world. And so I'm just not even getting involved in it. Instead, I'm dropping memes like this, which is upsetting them too. Because I've still got people. I got people right now saying Trump has literally sent United States soldiers to die for Israel. And I'm like, no, he hasn't. He literally hasn't. No, I mean, that could happen, I guess. However, I don't anticipate that. But you're saying it's already happened. No, it hasn't. It's the fucking craziest shit. I'll show you the fucking reply. Let me find it right now. Let me go to my Twitter account. It was on my panicking meme. Let's see. Or you just look at all of my replies. Like, it's just people are just fucking mad as hell. But one in particular. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Right here. So this is the panicking meme. Don't be a panicking. He's literally sending Americans to die for Israel. Is that what you voted for? What? When did this happen? When did this happen? Please, can someone inform me how many soldiers have died for Israel because of Trump's actions in the last week? It's just absolute insanity. I don't know who these people are listening to. I don't know where you're getting your information from, but you should probably maybe do a few fact checks beforehand. But yeah, Twitter's out of control right now. Kremlin says better question they should ask the press is why is Jeremy D-Day Cobra so gay? Oh my God. This is my favorite account. This is my favorite account. Smeeky. So if you don't know about this happened on our this was on our Mario Kart stream because Mike is obsessed with this Switch coin that he got. when he got his Nintendo Switch 2. And so Mike has been all about this like exclusive coin that he got. And it really does seem that it's affected him. He's very much been changed by it, to say the least. And so a wonderful meme was made last night, if I could find it. I know you sent it to me, Tree Bear, if I could find it. There it is right here. Okay. So Mike has been right here it is from Tree Bear. There it is. Look at this. If you know, you know. If you watch the Mario Kart streams, you get it. One of our members, Alan, rides with that set up, and he always makes Mike mad. This is a 10 out of 10 meme. But you have to know. If you know, you know. If you don't get it, and it makes no sense. But for those that get it, this is 10 out of 10 memes. This is what Geeks and Gamers was built on, is memes right here. And this is one of my favorite memes of all time. Dan, because they answer the phone with a lisp. Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier with a gifted membership. Axel Jensen. Jeremy celebrates Juneteenth from the waist down. I mean, that was hang on. I got to update the title of the stream. Right there. Did I spell that correctly? Who cares, right? But yeah, if you remember Black Panther 2, when that came out, there was this big movement on TikTok, and they basically said that if you were white, you couldn't go see the movie opening weekend. You needed to let black people go see the movie because it would be racist if you're a white person to go see Black Panther 2 on opening weekend. And so I went to see the movie opening weekend, and they let me in because I'm black from the waist down, and I have a black friend named Ryan Kennel. So that was how we were able to get in. So there you go. Epic Mickey's. Oh my God. I'm not even reading that. Those press journos have leakier, you know what, than mine. Actual Jesus says, bless your heart, Jeremy. Alex Ramsey with the gifted membership. Thank you. CG says Trump said he decide in 2 weeks. It may be shorter. Trump is unpredictable. After all, him shocking the world is within the realm of possibilities. Yeah, I mean, this is what he does. This is what he's always done. And if you paid attention to President Trump for any significant amount of time, you shouldn't be shocked by his actions at all. Not even a bit. And so there was a feed right here that I wanted to show you. Now, again, it's weird because right now, little Ben Shapiro and gay Dave Rubin are on Trump's side. And these are the same people that were actively campaigning against President Trump in the primaries. And now little Ben and gay Dave are on his side. Isn't that interesting? And then on the flip side, you have all these people that pretended to be pretended to be Trump supporters, and they're like pretending he's George W. Bush. And I don't like any of it at all. Let me see. What is that? All right. Dezenia. What would happen if a non-alphabet accidentally calls the alphabet suicide hotline? Do they get turned away? That's a good point. That's a very good point. So I would actually want to know the answer to that question. How does that work? Do they like ask you? Like, do they, when you called the alphabet suicide hotline, do they ask you like specifics before they can help you? Like, hey, we know you're going through some shit, but are you gay? Because if you're not gay, we can't help you. That's a very interesting dynamic. Green says the warmongers are trying to talk the war into existence on all platforms. I trust Trump will do what's best for America. Hail the 199. Very good point. That's exactly what I feel is happening as well. Warmongers are doing everything they can to push this forward. Look no further than Lindsey Graham's tweet. Whenever this all happened, Lindsey Graham went and celebrated, was going crazy. And he's like, game on. And it's like, dude, it's not a game. War is not a game. Why are you celebrating war? Why are you happy about this? Smeeky says, it's over. Chris Christie incoming. Stream Hero says, when does shirt sell end? Because thunderstorms knocked out my power until tomorrow. Now I'm stuck charging my phone at Burger King. 80-mile-an-hour winds. Dude. Well, first of all, you got till next week, so it's fine. Secondly, I'm so sorry to hear that. That is terrible. You know, and it's like sometimes you hear that and you're kind of like, how are you in that situation? Bro, I was live streaming in Orlando, Florida. And this is the crazy thing. Like, we all kind of get caught up in our own little situation. Like, where I live here in Panhandle, Florida right now, I got everything I need. I've got fiber internet. I've got everything I need. I've got backup generators, everything. But when I was in Orlando, I rented out what was that? I think it was like a 10-bedroom house, 10-bedroom, 8-bath house. Huge, beautiful house. Absolutely fantastic. It's like an Airbnb area. I rented it out for the year. We had the team there. We did a lot of stuff, but the internet in that area was so bad. Spectrum internet, by the way. Spectrum internet is the worst fucking internet ever. So we had Spectrum internet and it failed all the time. And the problem is I didn't know this when I made the initial agreement to move in. I didn't realize that I couldn't get, there was like, because it was like the area had like a contract with Spectrum. Spectrum was the only internet provider outside of if I was going to bring Starlink in or something like that. But Spectrum was the only provider that could be in that area. So I was willing to pay another company like 10 times whatever their monthly rate was just to get fiber. So the internet was always failing. And one night I was live. Some of you remember this. I was live doing a CobraCast and my internet went out, but the stream kept going because of StreamYard. So the stream kept going. The chat took over. And that's where it was like chat is take over. Chat took over the stream. And then the problem was in that area is like I had no good cell phone signal either in that area, not without Wi-Fi. So I literally had to drive up to a local convenience store and then I joined my live stream again from my phone. And that's how we did the stream for like the next couple of hours. It was crazy, man. So I feel you on that, brother. But I hope everything's okay in your area, Stream Hero. SBT says, we have an army. Trump, we have Chris Christie. That's right. We have a Chris Christie. We'll drop Chris Christie on you. Was an awesome night. We all rode in the Stang. Yes, it was. It was awesome. It was a lot of fun. Bottom line is people are wanting to know my opinion on all of this. And my opinion is I trust Donald Trump. I have some criticisms. I've shared some of those criticisms, but at the end of the day, I trust President Trump. I'm not a panicking. How many times do you remember when we're going to be in a recession about a month or 2 months ago? Oh my God, he's crashing us into a recession. It's over with. It's like, no, it's not. This is what he does. I firmly believe Trump is negotiating right now. Let's see. Chase K says, why don't you like Dave Rubin? Just wondering since I'm new here. Well, I think Dave Rubin's a pathetic piece of shit. I think he is a phony. I think he's a flip-flopper and he needs an echo chamber. And he blocked me on Twitter because I called him out on something. Like, listen, I'm a douchebag, but I'm not that big of a douchebag on Twitter. I'm really not. Like, I'll argue and debate with you, but like, I'm not like spamming people's replies. I don't even quote tweet people that much anymore. But I remember saying something to Dave Rubin that I disagreed with him on. I was probably aggressive when I called him out, whatever. And he blocked me on Twitter. So I also don't like the fact that he buys kids, him and his boyfriend or husband. I don't think that it's good that they buy children. I think that's a very fucked up thing to do, and it's very creepy. So, yeah, I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of Dave Rubin. Don't like him at all. And I also didn't like the fact that, he basically he was a DeSantis bro. He was a DeSantis bro. Of course, when that fell through, he jumped right back on the Trump train, which is what's going to happen with all these people that are calling Donald Trump out right now. They're all going to jump back on the Trump train once Trump does whatever he's going to end up doing. So, but even like this, like, look at these headlines from Alex Jones. Israel-Iran war update. Trump has approved U.S.-Iran strike plan, but has not decided to pull the trigger yet. Where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? Do you know where that's coming from? The Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal reported that, and President Trump has already debunked that. Trump has already come out and said, Wall Street Journal has no idea what I'm doing. Why would the fucking Wall Street Journal have any insight as to what President Trump is doing? The shit's just getting like annoying, dude. It's just like, I love Alex Jones, but I feel like, because if you go back about, what was it? In the last year, Alex Jones has faced an onslaught of people accusing him of being scared to criticize the Jews. And now it seems like, and he was getting ratioed like crazy over this. Like, it was bad. And I'm like, are we really calling Alex Jones out after everything this man has done and been through? Like, are we actually like questioning his credibility and shit like that? And now it's like, he just has decided, like, I'm just going to go all in to prove that I'm not. And it's like, what in the hell, Alex? Calling President Trump George W. Bush is fucking insane. It's absolutely insane. Let me see where we're at. Stream Hero says, also as soon as, hang on. Sorry. You got this one. Stream Hero says, I have Spectrum, never had issues until a tree got struck by lightning in an infield line. Oh, and fried the line. Every time it rained, it would go out. I'm in Ohio near a lake. Yeah, I mean, look, it just could have been an Orlando issue, but like, yeah, Spectrum was terrible in Orlando, like to the point where I spent hours on the phone with them, just telling them in the nicest way possible how terrible they were. Smeeky says they need to rename the Moab to the Chris Christie. Orbital 1970 Goat says Jeremy's live stream became self-aware when he lost internet and had to use the power of the 7-Eleven to shut it down. Nerdic Viking says, Jeremy, the first batch of IDOT shirts have moved into production according to Spring's order update. Let's go. Hell yeah. I'm hoping you guys enjoy them. Stream Hero says, also, as soon as they replaced that line, everything was fine. Also, I'm safe. I'm safe house. We usually get storms like that when the southern states get hurricanes or tornadoes. As long as you're safe, brother, that's all that matters right there. Okay. Oh, I thought, what the hell is this? So the White House was replaying this, and I thought that Trump was live. So it's right here. I saw the White House was live. I was like, oh shit, Trump is live, but it's just a replay. So I was like, oh man, you got me. I was fixing to pull it up and be like, Trump's live, everybody. What's he talking about? Turned out he's not live. So that is a false flag. Fake news. Fake news. So what time is in Israel right now? Because I don't know if this feed is accurate or if this feed is accurate. What I mean, is it day or night in Israel right now? Is anybody, I'm sure we have to have somebody knows. I would imagine this one is the accurate one. So okay, so this is the accurate one. This is who is this? What channel is this? This is the New York Post. So that doesn't mean a whole lot, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. Mark of Reality says that maybe the Wall Street Journal has some of those psychic crystal chicks on staff. That could be who's feeding them the info on Donald J. Trump's thoughts. Must be, man, because the amount of reporting, I maybe like it's, I'm just curious. This is from my perspective, because my perspective is going to be a little bit different than, anyone else's. But I do feel like the last 4 to 5 days and the reporting on the Trump White House, I don't think I've ever seen worse reporting than I have in these last 4 to 5 days. It has been horrible. The lies, and then the Twitter accounts running with the lies. It's so bad. But that's my perspective on it. Maybe I'm wrong. Now, if you missed the update, this is directly from the White House, so we don't have to worry about the fake news. Trump will make a decision over the next step in Iran within the next 2 weeks. Men are speaking, says that the influencer money is drying up after the election. So now we are seeing a lot of them being bought and paid for. The right-wing commentary sphere is probably being bought up for those willing. I potentially, listen, I'm nowhere, like, I'm not a big deal in the right-wing commentary community. Not that I ever want to be, by the way. Like, I don't want to be part of that world. I know people that are huge in that world, and it's not to say that, like, I have anything against them, but it's like, I've never tried to utilize my connections to people that are far bigger than me, because I don't care to be part of that world. I care to be part of my world, not their world. I don't need friends that are big in any sphere or whatever. And so I've never been approached by anyone, but I'm a nobody. So I guess it doesn't really matter if I haven't been approached. But I have not been approached on any of those levels. Like I said, I would tell you if I have. Like what is it? What's that fucking company that offered me all that money? That I rejected. BetterHelp offered me like, how much was it? I can't remember off the top of my head. It was a lot. Like, for like 3 ad reads, BetterHelp. They offered me, like, I want to say it was like $5,000 or $6,000 for 3 ad reads. That's it. Just 3 ad reads. And they offered me like $5,000 or $6,000. And I'm like, fuck you. You're a dog shit company. I hate you. Like, so I could not in good conscience do it. There's no way I could do that. Now, that's just for me or Geeks and Gamers or whatever. Can you imagine what they're paying the guys that get millions of views? And all of these guys run their ads, by the way. All of them run BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a fucking scam. So all of them run BetterHelp's ads. And if I'm getting paid that, which is a very, very good rate for me, I can only imagine what the guys that are getting those deals are getting paid. Probably a lot. Dorkman 20K for 20 says, do you plan to have some Geeks and Gamers hats or CobraCast hats? Yes. We're actually working on getting some of those set up soon, because you guys have been asking. So somebody says, I will take a deal from Nintendo. I would absolutely 100% not take a deal from Nintendo. Not a chance. I've heard of horror stories of YouTubers that had deals with Nintendo, and Nintendo gets upset or something like that because of something they say. I would never take a deal from Nintendo. Not a fucking chance, because you have to tiptoe when you work with Nintendo, and I'm not fucking tiptoeing. So I would never take a deal from Nintendo. Is it Tobes says, hello, Jeremy. You're hiding something beneath that hat, aren't you? Love from, I don't know where that is, but I have my hair is longer than it's ever been. It's even starting to like stick out of the back. Do you see that? I don't know if you can see that on camera, but like it's starting to stick out of the back. It's bad. Here, hang on. Like it's starting to stick out of the back. Look at that. Look at all that fucking hair. It's fucking ridiculous, man. So I don't know when I'm going to cut it, but it will happen at some point. But I'm going to keep letting that shit grow. It's longer than it's ever been right now. It's out of fucking control. It kind of looks like that fucked up picture that Dan Vasc has for his profile picture. That's what it looks like. Keys for 10 says, could some of this be Trump trying to find leaks as well? A lot of nonsense came out over the last few weeks, days. Maybe he's trying to plug the leaks as well. Potentially. I mean, I like to think of Trump as someone that operates on instincts, but I do think that he is strategic as well. And I think that, like, hang on. Let me see if I can find it. It was, what's that guy's name? Charlie Rose, maybe? Trying to see if I can find it. There was a clip of Trump a long time ago talking about like loyalty and things like that. And is this it? Well, I'm not going to watch that whole fucking interview. I'm just looking for the one clip that was going around. This is the problem with Twitter is like, is that going to be it right here? Twitter's search algorithm isn't great. It's actually pretty bad. And I can't find it right now. I'll keep looking here in a minute. But there's this old clip of Trump. And yep, here it is. Is this it? This probably has the stupid music to it. But let's see here.
See, I'm so loyal to people. Maybe I'm loyal to a fault, but I'm so loyal to people that when somebody's slightly disloyal to me, I look upon it as a great act of horror.
And how are you different than you were 3 or 4 years ago?
Well, I used to say, and in fact, I think I said in my first book that, and maybe this was foolish, but I really meant it, that someday I'd like to maybe lose everything for a period of time to see who's loyal and who's not loyal. And I found out a lot of things.
Did you find out who's loyal and not
I tell you
loyal?
what, and you can't guess it. You can't predict it. You think certain people would be loyal no matter what. And it turns out that they're not.
I mean, I hate when people put this music on here. I mean, they're trying to make him like a badass mob boss. You don't have to do that with music. Everybody knows who Trump is.
You just can't predict it. It's very difficult.
And that
I think I would have treated people differently. I think that, some of the people that were most loyal to me are people that I didn't think would be. Some of the people that were least loyal to me are people I think I would have treated them differently. I think I would have treated different groups differently. I would have wiped the floor with the guys that weren't loyal, which I will now do, which is like, I love getting even with people. But I will.
You love getting even.
Oh, absolutely. You don't believe in the eye for the eye? You do.
No.
I know you well enough. I think you do. But anyway, but
tell me, I mean, you're going to get even with some people.
Yeah, I know. If given the opportunity, I will get even with some people who are disloyal to me. Even though you didn't endorse me.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that Trump obviously works on that level to some extent for sure. I mean, he's paying attention to a lot of stuff right now, man. He's got a lot of things going on. So I don't know if he's actively trying to utilize this situation to expose leakers or whatever. It's very possible, but who knows? Brian K says Zero Hedge has White House says Trump to decide on attacking Iran within the next 2 weeks. Yeah, that was a little bit earlier with the White House press secretary. She confirmed that from President Trump. Matt Frog says, how are you spending Juneteenth, Jeremy? I think I'll smoke some Fent. I am spending it grifting. That's pretty much it. Tired Retro Gamer says, as usual, YouTube did not inform me you were live. Well, I'm sorry about that. YouTube notifications don't work very good, that's for sure. Dingus says, I'm in Orlando. Spectrum sucks balls. This is very true. Very true. Raging D-Head says, still waiting for World War III. Is it going to start anytime soon? I got to be at work pretty soon. Johnny Witzkin says, hey, Jeremy, I'm going to start making content soon. Just been busy setting up. I know the advice you told us. I want to know how to gain traction. Does tagging work? What should I tag? What else? Just, I mean, I can only tell you what I've experienced. And it's just like if you go over to, it really just comes down to relevant topics, good titles, and that's about it. I I don't use tags. I don't use hashtags. I don't do any of that stuff. And like I said, so I've got this channel over here that D-Day Cobra 2, and this channel's got 13,000 subscribers. But look at the views just in the past week on some of these videos. So 47,000 views on this video, 205,000 views on this video, 170,000 views on this video on a channel with 13,000 subscribers. These are getting more views on my channels that have hundreds of thousands of subscribers because it's algorithm friendly and it just worked into it. So it just comes down to the title and the thumbnail. That's my experience anyway. I don't know what the experience is for other people, but that's my experience. Title and thumbnail, and deliver on what you're advertising in the title and the thumbnail. Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier says, bald guy dome wax endorsements might be very profitable. The Exalted Patriarch says, if there is no other option, Trump needs to retrofit the Enola Gay to drop Fat Man. Oh, the bomb. Chris Christie and little boy Ben Shapiro. I didn't know where you were going with that until I saw Fat Boy, or it's Fat Boy, I think is what it's called. Icon Bearer says, just ordered my IDOT shirt to go with my other one. Thanks for what you do. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys are enjoying what we do here. And that's all I care about is the people enjoying what we do. Let me see if there's any updates really quick. I would recommend only looking at what Rapid Response 47 is saying. Okay, so Jack Posobiec, who I feel has been kind of critical of Trump. I haven't been paying that much attention to Jack Posobiec, but what does he say right here?
How many guys, and if we can get that shot back up of that beautiful White House with those huge American flags next to it, folks. Take a good, beautiful look at those huge flags that you can see flying right there from the White House. That is the two flags atop the brand new. Guys, can we zoom in a little bit on that? I mean, that is just absolutely gorgeous. I'm seeing this now for myself the very first time. Absolutely gorgeous. May they fly forever. Folks, the news is breaking and it is stunning. President Trump is just announced a 2-week delay in his decision on Iran. What can I say other than blessed are the peacemakers, and in fact, blessed are the deal makers. President Trump has announced also that Iran is, I believe he said likely or unlikely to have negotiations. And
yeah, the audio is absolutely horrendous. It really is bad. I don't know what's going on with that. It's the worst. And this is coming from me. Okay, this is coming from me.
Discuss these negotiations in a statement through Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, which you just heard moments ago. That's a message to our American troops that are there stationed throughout the Middle East.
So what's interesting is he's talking about the statement that was just released by White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. And now we're seeing nonsense like this, which again, this is a weird world that we're in. Okay. But the odds of a U.S. strike against Iran plummet after President Trump said talks are possible over the next 2 weeks per Polymarket. So Polymarket, again, we're treating this like it's an NFL football game. Polymarket's odds were over 80% that the United States would have military action against Iran. And now, because of Trump's latest statements, they have plummeted. So weird. So weird that we're even living in a world where like the markets like, hey guys, put some money on this. Now's the time. Now's the time to buy in on the war. I don't like that at all. So, but I will just continue to repeat what I have repeated for a long, long time, that I have been paying attention to President Trump for a long time. I trust President Trump. I trust him to make the best decision possible for the United States of America. As I said about 2 weeks ago, maybe it was about a week ago, He has the most difficult situation in the world right now on his hands. And I don't think that we truly appreciate just how bad of a situation he is caught up in. And if anybody can make the right decision, it's him. And so I trust him to make the right decision. The mass freak out on social media is not good for anyone. It's not like there's no good scenario for some people. They are going to spin a narrative out of it however they want, and that's perfectly fine. That is their right, but it doesn't mean they don't look stupid. This is the right answer, though. President Trump, if Iran doesn't surrender in the next 24 hours, I'm going to drop Chris Christie on them. Thank you. That is the best answer. And that's the answer that I believe will ultimately get Iran to surrender completely. Zevin Cross says, for the weirdos, it's Juneteenth. For the sane people, it's Independence Day. Thank you, Zevin Cross. Appreciate it. So yeah, if this happens, Iran will no longer exist. So we'll see what happens with that. But I expected that it might be a little, I expected that we might have a little more news today, but apparently we are not. It's not going to be as busy, but of course we shall see. Because like even accounts like this are doing constant updates. Israeli PM, Netflix Yahoo says Israel has the power to damage all of Iran's nuclear facilities. Then why do you need the United States of America involved? If you have the power to damage all of Iran's nuclear facilities, why are you asking for the United States to get involved? But again, do I even believe this account? I don't know. I'm hearing so much bullshit from so many different accounts that I have no idea. I have no idea what to believe. I'm trying to find that clip of him where he's basically been talking about Iran since like the 80s or the 90s and warning against them. I don't know why I can't find it. Everybody was sharing it. And now I can't find it. Let's see. Let me type Iran. Again, Twitter's search needs a lot of work. Here it is. Is this it? All right, here we go. Right here. Why should I take this guy seriously?
The deadline for attaining this goal is getting extremely close. And Iran, by the way, is also outpacing Iraq in the development of ballistic missile systems that they hope will reach the eastern seaboard of the United States within 15 years. By next spring, at most, by next summer, at current enrichment rates, they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage. From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks, before they get enough enriched uranium for the first bomb. The foremost sponsor of global terrorism could be weeks away from having enough enriched uranium for an entire arsenal of nuclear weapons. That would place a militant Islamic terror regime weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year. It could be within a few months, less than a year.
I mean, mall kiosk guy right there. Mall kiosk guy. Drakenwolf says, please stream Titanfall 2. I actually wouldn't mind streaming Titanfall 2. I miss Titanfall 2. But I've got Battlefront that I want to play. There's a lot. I haven't even played the new Fortnite update. So, okay. So that's, again, I don't trust that guy at all. I don't trust this guy. I don't like this guy. Something comes off as very sleazy about him. Um, all right. I'm just looking for more updates. Sorry if I'm quiet. Their experiences dropping JB Pritzker and Chris Christie would be worse than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Is it Hiroshima or Hiroshima? I always heard when I was growing up it was Hiroshima, but now I hear people say it's Hiroshima. I don't know. I think Hiroshima sounds cooler, but I hear people say Hiroshima, so I'm not sure which it is. Hiroshima. Either or. Yeah, that's what I think. As I've heard people say it both. When I was growing up, though, it was always Hiroshima is what it was always said. But I don't believe anything I was taught when I was growing up anyway. Alice McCarthy says, as Jeremy says, don't be a panicking. It's the best advice I can give you right now. What up, Hayden? Says Hiroshima. It's pronunciation of the Japanese characters. What's up, Hayden Wayne in the house? Southern folk say everything right, Jeremy. It's not tire, it's tar. I didn't have a lot of people in my area say tar. I just had a lot of so when I was growing up, in Alabama, I don't recall a lot of people calling tires tar. I don't recall a lot of people saying things in a Southern way. They all just said the N-word. So I had to go with that joke. I had to go with that joke. Krog basis, pull up Trump and Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's lit. I have seen that before. I'll probably get hit for playing that clip, so I'm not going to, but yes, I have I enjoy that clip very much so. So I don't see a lot of the panicins out at the moment after the latest news from President Trump, but they have been out in full force the last several days, and now it seems like, well, we don't have anything to freak out right now because Trump is trying to strike a peace deal. We'll see. All right. Where are we at on Rumble? We caught up over there. Okay, we're caught up over there. All right. Next thing we want to talk about, let me pull up my bookmarks really quick because there's still plenty to discuss throughout the day. Oh, by the way, this picture goes this is a gangster picture, dude. Look at this. Is that not a gangster picture right there? Like, why have I never seen this picture? This is the first time I've ever seen this. That is a badass picture right there. I don't know when that was taken, but that's pretty awesome. So right here in wokeness, put Trump's first term. So it was a huge success. 4 years, 0 wars, ISIS obliterated, Russia didn't invade, Middle East peace deals, North Korean normalization, world scared of the U.S., and the lesson, don't be a panicking. And that's it. Don't be a panicking. I don't know why I don't know why with President Trump that so many people's brains get broken and they can't just think logically. I have no idea. But and by the way, when I questioned Alex Jones in that headline, remember I questioned Alex Jones in that headline? Where's it at? I showed you the headline that Alex Jones was posting. Look where his source is. This is what he's doing right now, and it's driving me crazy. Why is he doing this? He's literally running with a headline from the Wall Street Journal where Trump and his administration are giving you direct answers, and you're running with Wall Street Journal headlines, and you're calling Trump George W. Bush. It's fucking crazy. Another retard in the chat. Hang on. He said, is Jeremy Jewish? No, I'm half black. I'm black from the waist down. That's why your mom couldn't walk for a week. Go fuck yourself. So retarded question gets a retarded answer. That's how we operate here at Cobra Cast. So, let me see here. Like I said, I had to Google what Mossad meant because motherfuckers are accusing me of being bought by Israel and Mossad. So I had to Google what that meant because I'm like, what does this mean? Should I just ask the chat? Or should I just Google it? Like, I don't know what the fuck this even means. But, I mean, here we are in the world of, like, people that do no research whatsoever. I agree with this right here, too. Mark Mitchell and his poll numbers. He says, wow, another 55% overnight and right direction back up to 48%. GOP approval of Trump is still at 84%. This isn't a MAGA rift. It's a debate. Which I fully agree with, that it's a debate among MAGA. Now, there are people that are not MAGA that will absolutely pretend that they are part of this situation. But in terms of people that are actually MAGA, true Trump supporters, there's a debate going on, and that's totally fine. But right here, directly from President Trump, where the Wall Street Journal has all of this reporting and Alex Jones runs with the headline. Here's President Trump saying, the Wall Street Journal has no idea what my thoughts are concerning Iran. That is straight from the commander-in-chief. Yet we're supposed to believe the Wall Street Journal's bullshit headlines. I don't get it. It makes no sense. I haven't heard this audio before. Trump was the original 9/11 conspiracy theorist. Really? What is this? Hang on.
When I first looked at it, I couldn't believe it because there was a hole in the steel. And this is steel that was, you remember the width of the windows in the World Trade Center, folks. I think you know, if you were ever up there, they were quite narrow. And in between was this heavy steel. I said, how could a plane, even a 767 or 747 or whatever it might have been, how could it possibly go through the steel? I happen to think that they had not only a plane, but they had bombs that exploded almost simultaneously, because I just can't imagine anything being able to go through that wall. Most buildings are built with the steel is on the inside around the elevator shaft. This one was built from the outside, which is the strongest structure you can have.
This is the guy you're doubting? This is the guy you're doubting now? Also, do you know who predicted 9/11 before it even happened? Do you know who predicted it?
Quote from Donald Trump, talking about a large-scale terror attack 19 months before 9/11. In his 2000 book, The America We Deserve, Trump wrote, I really am convinced we're in danger of the sort of terrorist attacks that will make the bombing of the 1993 Trade Center look like little kids playing with firecrackers. Trump also mentioned the mastermind of the attack, writing, quote, one day we're told that a shadowy figure with no fixed address named Osama bin Laden is public enemy number one, and U.S. jet fighters lay waste to his camp in Afghanistan. He escapes back under some rock, and a few news cycles later, it's on to a new enemy and a new crisis.
Trump. Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. Is this really Trump before 9/11? Have you read this?
It's 2000 in his book.
Are we making this? Did you make this up, Mika?
Nick.
I did.
Did you make this up?
Nick, tell us it's over, right? Because
Will
you're
you
wrong
stop?
about everything.
Mika, stop. God.
I don't think it's over.
What's that? What's the rage here? Will you stop
No,
picking
it's
on
cute.
him?
I think it's cute.
Well, go for it. No, really quickly, though. I mean, so Willie, that was
2000.
And a book he wrote in the year 2000.
Well, it was published in 2000. He could have written in 1999 for all we know.
Exactly. He might have been a bit more precious.
So he basically predicted the attacks from Osama bin Laden. Hey, YouTube fan.
There you go, right there. So when I saw that, so going back to this, and I was like, this reminds me of that clip. So one more time.
When I first looked at it, I couldn't believe it because there was a hole in the steel. And this is steel that was, you remember the width of the windows in the World Trade Center, folks. I think you know, if you were ever up there, they were quite narrow. And in between was this heavy steel. I said, how could a plane, even a 767 or 747 or whatever it might have been, how could it possibly go through the steel? I happen to think that they had not only a plane, but they had bombs that exploded almost simultaneously, because I just can't imagine anything being able to go through that wall. Most buildings are built with the steel is on the inside around the elevator shaft. This one was built from the outside, which is the strongest structure you can have. When I first
King Trump. By the way, my chat is completely frozen. I don't know what's going on, but like on YouTube anyway, the chat has completely stopped. So let's see. There it is. Okay. All right. It's back now. So, but it was gone for a minute. We're back now. That's all that matters. Okay. Let's see what's going on. I got more stuff that I want to talk about. Again, if you missed it, I got to play this clip one more time. It's the dumbest clip of the day, in my opinion, my humble opinion. But this is next level shit, bro. And this is Candace Owens. This is crazy.
LG19 writes, serious question, will there be jobs or community military members can join when I get a dishonorable discharge for not contributing to delete people or my body for the interests of a certain foreign nation benefit? I love this question. I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda, and that appears so, get dishonorably discharged. Who cares? Who cares? Why should you go die in a foreign land? You now have the benefit of 2020. You can see, think about those men and those women who died because they were pitched that they were serving their country because there were weapons of mass destruction, right? They were serving their country because the Taliban, they were serving their country, whatever. And these people gave up their lives. And ask yourselves, for what? And the answer to that question is for the elites. They're like toy soldiers. And I would have said a few weeks ago that Trump would never do that to you. He would never just throw you into an Israeli war. But right now, our planes are flying in the sky, and things are going nuclear. So I don't have that confidence anymore. And I'm comfortable with people being dishonorably discharged because the dishonor has come from our politicians. The dishonor has come from our politicians who routinely lie in our faces and are willing to let us die to serve their financial interests.
Do you know what happens when you are dishonorably discharged from the military? And again, I need you to understand that this is a multi-millionaire who gets paid to talk like I do. I'm not a multimillionaire, but I do get paid to talk. Literally the easiest fucking job in the world. She's a multi-millionaire. And she's telling soldiers to get dishonorably discharged. On no world does this make sense. I don't care if Joe Biden is your president. I don't care if Kamala Harris was the president, Hillary Clinton. That type of advice is unbelievably reckless and unbelievably out of touch. This is the worst thing I have ever heard her say. Like, this is insane. Leon Kennedy says, I was dishonorably discharged, so yes, I do know. It is so bad for her to say this, and the lack of self-awareness is for her to sit there and be a multimillionaire and get paid to talk. The same person that was carrying water for the Daily Wire for all those years is now taking this stance. How do you work for the Daily Wire and now you have this take, and it's fine, but how do you expect to be taken seriously when you carried Ben Shapiro? You You basically walked behind the path that little Ben Shapiro made for you because he paid you, and you had opinions that little Ben approved because he paid you. And now this. Absolutely insane. So yeah, even if this was under like the Joe Biden leadership or any other president, like just to say that like at some point in time, like everybody involved in the military is going to disagree with the actions of the commander in chief. That doesn't mean that they should just be like, hey, let's just get dishonorably discharged because we don't like what the commander in chief is saying. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. So, what a retarded take. I am anti-war, you fucking retard. You have no ability to have any nuance in your thinking. You have no ability to think for yourself if you think that I'm attacking anti-war people. I'm attacking a retarded take. I am anti-war, you stupid fuck. Like, do the slightest bit of fucking research. Dumb fucking people. So stupid. Like, I don't know how you can be so dumb. How are you that dumb that you could still type a sentence on the internet? I don't understand it. By the way, I guess I am pro-war because I am all for Chris Christie being dropped on Iran because I do think that that would end the conflict immediately. So, yeah, I guess you got me because I posted a Chris Christie meme. I am pro-war now. Good Lord. Jeremy literally tweeted he is anti-war. I did. Where's that tweet? Let's see. It was only a few days ago. Where's that? Right here. I do not support war. All warmongers can go to hell. War is the enemy. I stand by that. I 100% stand by that. But yes, I'm attacking anti-war people because Candace Owens, a multimillionaire, telling soldiers to dishonorably discharge from the military and ruin their fucking lives. That makes me, I'm attacking all anti-war people. Stupidity, man. Again, people are listening to nonsense right now on social media, and it's breaking their brains. Legalized Adulthood says there seems to be something that happens to these influencers and pundits as they gain fame. It changes them. I don't know what the fuck happened to Candace Owens, but she is not the same person as she was at first. So the thing about Candace Owens is like, I remember, thank you, Legalized Adulthood. I remember when I was like, I enjoyed a lot of the Candace Owens takes and I was, I'd say good things about her. I would have people coming after me going, Jeremy, do you know what she used to do? And I'm like, I don't really care what she used to do. I only care about like who she is now. But then then you start seeing her flip again. So then that's cause for me to then think back to Candace Owens and her claim to fame was that she ran, God, the chat's going to have to correct me on this. It was some type of doxing site or something like that. It was some type of like her claim to fame in the early stages of, it was like a doxing site or something like that she ran. Somebody will have to correct me on this. But this is before she became like prominent on YouTube, before she had like her YouTube channel. Somebody will be able to, she still has it, by the way. What is it exactly though? What specifically is that site that she had? It was some like doxing right wingers or something like that. Let me see. Yeah, people in chat are mentioning it, but I can't remember specifically what it is. But it was a site that was very questionable for a lot of people, and then she gained prominence, and she kind of flipped on that take, and then she went full like Daily Wire pro MAGA, this, that, and the other. Then she got fired by the Daily Wire, I guess. Which again, to be fair, if you're asking me who I would choose out of Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro, I'd still choose Candace Owens. So I'm not a fan of Candace Owens at all, but I would take Candace Owens over Ben Shapiro any day of the week because I think little Ben Shapiro is an evil person and I don't like him at all. But I choose to not want to have either one of them when it's all said and done. Alex McCarthy says, oh, I got that one. I got that one. Mike S says, still blows my mind what a bunch of MAGA people thought Trump would throw his entire legacy into a dumpster fire over Iran. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand what, like, I think people find what they want and then they block out everything else. So like for people that are suddenly now gay, like, I can't believe Trump is supporting Israel. Trump has always supported Israel. You clearly have done no research, because if today your problem is that Donald Trump is a supporter of Israel, you probably shouldn't have been supporting him for the past decade, because he's always supported Israel. He's always been a pro-Israel president. That's always been the case. You're just finding out today because your favorite Twitter account told you. It's really strange. So, Dragon Dan says the other day, you said tornado as a tornado. Did I? I don't recall that, unless I was joking, because I always say tornado. I could have been joking. I don't know. McCox says Chris Christie equals fat man. Rosie O'Donnell equals little boy. Japan 2.0 Middle East anime is going to be crazy. Maybe even a big boom. Ghost 23 says today is June 19th, 2025. And in Call of Duty Black Ops 2, the final missions take place today. Hail 199 and MAGA, my sunny boy. Thank you. Zhang the Great says, Candace, I'm getting fucking sued by a bunch of people who followed my stupid podcast advice. Yeah, man. That's wild take. A wild take. Zandy says, my issue is the Iran stuff is the chance Trump to listen to the experts like he did with COVID. The experts are all calling for regime change all over. Yeah, I mentioned this a couple days ago, but like the if you want to say that Donald Trump has been manipulated, you would be right about COVID, because Trump got manipulated on COVID. He absolutely did. Trump is the GOAT. Trump is the greatest deal maker in the planet. Trump is the greatest president, but he completely got played on COVID. He absolutely did. And there's no, I don't think there's a debate to be had on it. He got played and manipulated, and they took his presidency and he walked right into the COVID stuff. And it took him a long time to realize that that was not a winning strategy for him to continue to talk about Operation Warp Speed and all of that. But he did get played. And hopefully, that's not happening in this situation. I do think that if you look at it on the outside perspective, I don't know the details. You don't know the details. And the people on Twitter that are talking about this don't know the details. But on the outside looking in, it does seem like Netflix, Yahoo, and Israel have basically preemptively gone after Iran with the attempt to try and drag the United States into it with them. That's what it looks like on the outside. Is that really what's happening? I don't know, but that's what it looks like is what's happening. And hopefully Trump is smarter than that. Hopefully. Zandy said, I got that one. Vault 95 says, Candace making Battlefield bad company come true. Random commenter says, have you seen the pilot episode for Lone Gunman, the X-Files spinoff? Clips on YouTube. Synopsis on IMDb, aired 6 months before 9/11, predicts the attacks. I have not seen that, but I'll have to look that up now. Smeeky says, just in, Trump's approval rating is at 56%. Hell yes. Trump is crushing it. Trump is crushing it. Let's see. I think that came in just a little while ago. But no, okay, yeah, here it is. So Trump's approval rating, 56%. He is crushing it. No matter how much people are trying to spin things. What is this? Just in, federal agents conduct an illegal alien raid at Home Depot in Hollywood. All right, hang on. Dude, the fucking memes write themselves. So, so again, just in, federal agents conduct an illegal alien raid at Home Depot in Hollywood, California.
Say, is that okay? Come on, let's be honest. Is that okay? Is that okay? Let's be honest. Later on, just remember. Later on. Later on, you're gonna regret it. I mean, let's say everybody go out.
By the way, do you guys remember that picture of little Ben Shapiro when he went to Home Depot? Oh my God. That reminds me. Ben when he put hang on. Home Depot. It's the funniest picture ever. Where's that picture of Ben Shapiro at Home Depot? All right, Ben Shapiro. Why is there a bag over it? Why is there a bag over this? Who does that? Oh man, that was so funny. I was like, what are you doing? Why do you have a bag over the wood? Like, what? What are we doing here? All right, back to this.
Nobody's gonna work. You guys are not in the right. Fuck you. You know, food, house, everything's gonna be down. Even the house you're living on. That's what I say. That's the right way of the law. That's the right way of the law. That's what I love to see. That's what I say. That's what I like to see.
Wrap it up.
That's what I like to see. That's not okay.
It's not okay. This is what that reminds me of too. That Ben Shapiro picture. That's what, whenever that picture became a thing, it reminded me of this guy right here. Like, what are you doing, bro? I worked at Home Depot. I've worked at Home Depot a couple times. So yeah. Who does this? Who does this? Oh my God. We're doomed. But yeah, so the ICE raids are continuing. So I guess that's good news right there. So breaking, Netflix Yahoo announces Israel does not need help to reach its goals in Iran. He says they can accomplish their goals alone when it comes to Iran's nuclear facilities. So again, if that's the case, then why have you been asking for the United States, and why have you been lobbying for the American people to listen to you? Why have you been talking directly to the American people if that's the case? Again, this guy just comes off as a manipulator. Everything about this guy comes off as manipulative. Now, I don't know anything about the guy outside of what I'm seeing. And when you are constantly telling the American people that we have to, and today it could be Tel Aviv, tomorrow it could be New York. Like, I don't like Netflix Yahoo at all. I am not a fan. Not a fan at all. Okay. Good old Netflix Yahoo. I don't call him that out of disrespect. I call him that because I can never remember how to say his stupid name. So I just don't do it. Seeing if there's any updates really quick. Okay, got that. True Mr. Gentleman says, I have proof that Jeremy is bought and paid for by the McMahon-Helmsley faction. I have pictures of him with Xbox and Tory. All of his opinions are completely bought and biased towards the Stephanie, that what Stephanie McMahon wants. On that note, I saw this earlier and I do think it's pretty awesome. But listen, for those that pay attention to this show, I said this at the first of the year. I predicted you were going to see the reemergence of the great Vince McMahon. According to several executives in combat sports and pro wrestling, the belief is that Vince McMahon will ultimately find himself involved in professional wrestling again. And speaking with wrestlers off the record, there is a great deal of support for McMahon, as many note that he is still held in high regard. Vince is coming back, baby. Now, do I think Vince has it anymore? I kind of don't. I think Vince is kind of like way past any, like, I think Vince is gone, but I'd still like to see him come back into the fold just to trigger, because the IWC, the internet wrestling community, is full of they, thems, and freaks. So it absolutely is full of they, thems, and freaks, man. The IWC is littered with pronoun weirdos. It is bad right now. It's very bad. Okay. Back to this. Jeffrey Bird says Lindsey Graham is crying in the office right now. Let's hope so. We're always happy when Lindsey Graham is crying. Always. Few Soul says her site was called Social. Is it Auto Autopsy? Is that it? It's, if I recall correctly, it was a site to dox people for bullying online. That's it right there. Yeah. So that's the Candace Owens that, again, man, like I've liked a lot. Like, what was that? Didn't she do like a Black Lives Matter? I think she did like a Black Lives Matter documentary or a George Floyd documentary or something like that for the Daily Wire. I remember watching that because when the Daily Wire hired Gina Carano, I became a yearly supporter of the Daily Wire when they brought Gina Carano in. So I had access to a lot of their shows and shit like that. So she had like it was either a Black Lives Matter or a George Floyd documentary or something like that. And it was extremely well done. I remember it being it was really good. And so she's done some good work, but she just seems like a type of person that, again, if Candace Owens is the type of person that can take Daily Wire money and carry water for Daily Wire, who's paying her now? Just a question. Who's paying her now? Ministry of Wrong Thing says, people forget Trump was elected in 2016 as an anti-war POTUS when Hillary was threatening war in Syria. Then Trump set a single strike to Syria. People still consider Trump 2024 plus the best ever Trump. Absolutely. Agreed. Thank you so much. 3 says, OMG, I'm such a dumb blonde. I just got the Netflix Yahoo joke. Please don't throw me out of the hot 18%. I don't think the chat is ever going to throw the 18% of the females out. Do we have 18% now? Thank you, 3. Appreciate it. Maxwell VT says that no one is above the law. No one is above the law. Greedy Graffiti says, I put my wood in a bag, but the bag is a Trojan brand. Lying Dogface Pony Soldier says the Uniparty is afraid ICE raids will drive up the real minimum wage. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of accusations about like I guess Qatar. People are saying like they're paying Tucker Carlson and all that. I don't really know if I agree with that. I know Laura Loomer's pushing that, and I don't have anything against Laura Loomer. I like a lot of what Laura Loomer does and says, but she sometimes goes a little overboard sometimes. I don't think that I would agree that Tucker Carlson is on anybody's payroll per se. I like Tucker. Even when he, is going after Trump, I like Tucker a lot. And I think that Tucker Carlson is very level-headed and very trustworthy in his takes, that they're coming from a good place. It doesn't mean that I'm always going to agree with him, but I feel that they're always from a level-headed place. So Qatar paid Tucker Carlson for one interview. Yeah, and if that's the case, that's the case. I mean, like, so I don't see anything. Like, if you go back to my stream the other day when Tucker was in hot water with Trump, I just said, like, I don't disagree, but like, I'm fine with everything Tucker's saying. Like, I'm not saying I agree with everything his criticisms, but I appreciate what he's doing. I don't have a problem that he's criticizing Trump. It doesn't matter to me. I think they're valid criticisms. I think Tucker Carlson has, you know, talk about whatever he wants to talk about. Now, Trump addressed it yesterday, and he, according to him, Tucker called him. So here's the clip right here.
The Tucker Carlson, Senator Ted Cruz interview, it seems like this issue on whether or not the United States should strike is kind of dividing a lot of your supporters.
No, my supporters are for me. My supporters are America first and make America great again. My supporters don't want to see Iran have a nuclear weapon. Tucker's a nice guy. He called and apologized the other day because he thought he said things that were a little bit too strong, and I appreciated that. And Ted Cruz is a nice guy. I mean, he's been with me for a long time. I'd say once the race was over, he's been with me ever since, right? But very simple. If they think that it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon, then they should oppose me, but nobody thinks it's okay. People that don't want, I don't want to fight either. I'm not looking to fight. But if it's a situation between fighting and him having a nuclear weapon, you have to do what you have to do. Maybe we won't have to fight. Don't forget, we haven't been fighting. We add a certain amount of genius to everything, but we haven't been fighting at all. Israel's done a very good job of that. But we'll see what happens. The bottom line is they can't have nuclear. And if I can't imagine that Ted Cruz said it's okay for Iran to have nuclear, including Tucker. I don't think Tucker says it's okay. The problem is then they get themselves into a thing. They don't want them to have nuclear, but then they say, well, we don't want to fight. Well, you're going to have to make a choice because it's possible that you're going to have to fight for them not to have nuclear. And it's interesting because I did ask Tucker, I said, well, are you okay with nuclear weapons being in the hands of Iran? And he sort of didn't like that. He didn't want to really talk, but he sort of didn't like that. And I said, well, if it's okay with you, then you and I do have a difference. But it's really not okay with him. Therefore, you may have to fight, and maybe it'll end very quickly. But there's no way that you can allow, whether you have to fight or not, you can allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon because the entire world will blow up. I'm not going to let that happen.
Now, I want you to remove everything that you have heard on social media from Twitter accounts and whoever else. And I just want you to tell me what your problem with what Donald Trump, the president of the United States, just said in that clip. Eliminate all the other noise. Eliminate Netflix, Yahoo, and the dumb shit he is saying. Tell me what your problem with what Donald Trump just said in that clip right there. I can't think of anything I have a problem with what he just said. He said, I don't want to fight. But if it comes down to Iran, someone that he has historically said for over a decade now that he doesn't want them having nuclear capabilities. So I don't want to fight, but if it comes down to this, then we may have to. We're trying to work on a peace deal. What does anyone have a problem with anything he said? Eliminate all the bullshit. Because everybody's saying that Trump is a warmonger. Trump is George W. Bush. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Does that sound like George W. Bush? Seriously? Like, that pisses me off when somebody makes that comparison because it is, first of all, it's incredibly disrespectful to President Trump and it gives credibility to George W. Bush. And I am be damned if we're giving credibility to George W. Bush, a fucking piece of shit warmonger who's responsible for hundreds of thousands of deaths unnecessarily, by the way. So I have no problem with anything he said right there. Now, I have a problem with Netflix, Yahoo. I have a problem with him continuing to try and lobby to the American people. I have a problem with him saying that today it's Tel Aviv, tomorrow it could be New York. No, it's not. It's not going to be New York. President Trump's in power. They're not coming after us. They're not going to touch us. No, they're not. We're not worried about that, Netflix Yahoo. And now that President Trump has said that he's going to take a couple of weeks to see if he can get a peace deal worked out, you've got Netflix Yahoo saying, well, we don't really need the help to reach our goals in Iran. That's not what you said a few days ago. A few days ago, you said you needed our help. A few days ago, you said today it's Tel Aviv, tomorrow it could be New York. I don't like this guy. I don't trust this guy. So that is valid criticisms. But why are the criticisms of Netflix Yahoo, why are they being leveled towards Donald Trump? Why are people saying that Trump should be impeached because of Netflix Yahoo? It makes no sense. But I think that was a very level-headed statement from President Trump, and he is doing everything in his power to keep the peace and make sure that we don't have a war break out. And it's clear that that's what he's committed to trying to do. It's also clear that Iran is not going to, I don't know if it's clear that Iran's not looking to have discussions, but it's clear that Iran is making the conversation more difficult. So that's where we are. Troy New says, do you think the people calling others woke right for not agreeing with them are actual woke right? It's as if they want hive mind right. Is the woke right? The panicans, the info war is brutal. I don't really know what woke right means. I've seen that term being thrown around a lot, and I don't know what woke right means. So I mean, I don't know what they mean by that. So I haven't gotten too far into that aspect of things. Ultimately, there's no way, like, it's not my responsibility to tell you who you should follow, who you should listen to. You should listen to whoever you want to listen to and never apologize for it. It's not my business. So like, if you tell me like, Jeremy, I'm going to go listen to Candace Owens. Okay. Like, that's perfectly fine with me. I'm not the arbiter of who you can and can't listen to. But if it's all about, like, do you trust a person's take? Do you think they're being genuine in what they're saying? Do you think you're getting an authentic take from them? Authenticity doesn't mean that you agree. Just because someone's being authentic, you may still disagree with their authenticity. I think that a lot of people probably disagree with me, and that's fine. But I'm as honest as I can be about my takes. And if I don't have knowledge on something, I'll tell you. I don't pretend that I know stuff that I don't know. And I try to give as a logical of an explanation on something that I can on stuff that I do know. So, but yeah, the craziness right now, I enjoy chaos. I enjoy craziness. But the last week has probably been the worst I've ever seen, to the point where it's not even a conversation I'm willing to want to get into on social media, because it's not worth it, because it is truly a situation where people have decided that, hey, if you don't agree with everything that I agree with, you are this. And it's like, this is so dumb. There's no way to win this argument. There's no way to accomplish anything with this discussion. It's crazy. Donald Trump has been in the political game for 10 years now. 10 years. Think of everything he's been through. Think of everything that we've seen. So 10 years. And now we've finally decided that he's a warmonger after 10 years. Those first 4 years, he wasn't a warmonger. But he's Israel's asset, which is why they had an election stolen. But Israel controls the United States. But Donald Trump has an election stolen from him in 2020. But Israel controls the United States, and they control Donald Trump. But then Donald Trump had multiple assassination attempts. But Israel controls the, like, none of this fucking shit makes sense, dude. It's fucking retarded. None of it makes sense. It's crazy. Man, wasn't the Elon drama like 2 years ago? Yeah, it seems like it at this point. Lying Dog Face Pony Soldier says the Uniparty is afraid. Oh, I got that one. Cyber Slayer says Netanyahu equals Netanyahu. Netflix Yahoo. That's what I like saying. Netflix Yahoo. Mike Zero Source says going to war over WMDs. I've watched this movie before. I don't like how this movie ends. Coraline says he's fixated on Iran. Israel's our greatest enemy. Graham Robbins for 20 says, Jeremy, my wife watches you all the time and texts me at work to let me know Cobra Cast is live. So you definitely have more women fans. Also, can you tell the beautiful Miss Robbins to go easy on me when I get home for sending you money? Miss Robbins, I wish that I had the deals that everyone accuses me of. I wish I didn't have to Google Mossad to find out that I'm not paid by them, but I'm not. So I greatly appreciate your husband for sending me a $20 super chat. It helps more than you know. So please don't give him too much hell. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Tactical Dish Soap says Netflix Yahoo got us to the Middle East and Bush jumped on it. We never did find WMDs and the Middle East never got better. That's true. Regime change is a joke. I don't agree with regime change because it's the same argument we heard in Iraq. Oh, we just get rid of Saddam Hussein and it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful place full of birds chirping and butterflies and the children are going to be happy. It's going to be like Disney World in the 80s, everyone. Iraq will be the most lovely place in the world when we get rid of Saddam Hussein. And it got worse. It got worse. Darth Gavel says, Trump, no war, please. The left, warmonger. Yep, that's how it works. So, let's see. See again, man, like, I don't know how where have I asked for war? God. Where have I asked for war? Like, seriously, like, I'm not the smartest person, but holy fuck, where am I asking for war? This is what I'm saying, dude. The online discussion is full of the dumbest fucking people in the world. It's the dumbest people in the world. It's exhausting, the stupidity that's out there right now. It's absolutely exhausting. You blame the media? I mean, honestly, like, I can't even blame this one on the media, man. I can't blame this one on the media. I have to blame it on people that pretended to be MAGA and now they're running with every headline from the Wall Street Journal. They know better. Alex Jones knows better than to run from a Wall Street Journal headline. He knows better. But here he is, running with Wall Street Journal headlines. So, I don't know, man. The whole thing, none of it makes sense to me. Here's a Tim Pool with Laura Loomer. What is this? Impeached over what? Yeah, exactly. Listen.
It seems like there's been a shift over the past several years among many prominent personalities who were saying that they were conservative or Trump supporting. There's a bit of a distinction, I suppose, but I largely agree with you. I think Soleimani was in Iraq at the time. Minor difference, I suppose. When Trump said,
what's the difference though? I thought they're trying to say that an airstrike is a full-blown declaration of war. So are they saying that we reignited war in Iraq? Are they saying that we reignited war in Syria? They say that Donald Trump is the president of no new wars. So how can you say that Donald Trump is the president of no new wars, which I agree with, and say that the airstrikes on Qasem Soleimani and the airstrikes conducted on al-Baghdadi and ISIS leaders wasn't a new war in the Middle East? But
that's true, dude. How many times have we celebrated that where he's like, he died like a dog? And we've laughed about it. We've laughed about that 100 times because it was funny as shit, by the way. The same people that are crying about Trump saying he needs to be impeached for something he hasn't even done yet, we're laughing about where he's like, he died like a dog. I'm going to pull that shit up too.
The airstrikes on possible. And look, the United States hasn't even gotten involved yet, right? The United
Right.
States hasn't even conducted airstrikes. So they're trying to undermine Donald Trump. Some people like Dave Smith went as far, and he's buddies with Tucker Carlson. Tucker thinks he's amazing. Dave Smith went as far as calling for Donald Trump to be impeached. Impeached over what?
Yeah.
Donald Trump hasn't gotten involved in the conflict of in Iran. He has always been consistent in saying that we need to make sure that Iran does not have access to a nuclear weapon. He has instructed Tom Homan and Kirsty Noem over at DHS to secure our borders and to work with Kash Patel, our new FBI director, and to work with Dan Bongino to identify or try to locate some of these 2 million gotaways that came in under Biden's administration, open borders. Many of those 2 million individuals are...
Laura Loomer, she's all worked up, but here's the clip right here. Everybody celebrated this
Night was
because it's amazing.
a great night for the United States and for the world. A brutal killer, one who has caused so much hardship and death, has violently been eliminated. He will never again harm another innocent man, woman, or child. He died like a dog. He died like a coward. The world is now a much safer place. He was a sick and depraved man, and now he's gone. Baghdadi was vicious and violent, and he died in a vicious and violent way as a coward, running and crying. This raid was impeccable and could only have taken place with the acknowledgement and help of certain other nations and people. I want to thank the nations of Russia, Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. And I also want to thank the Syrian Kurds for certain support they were able to give us. This was a very, very dangerous mission.
I like the clip. I believe one of the late night hosts that hates Trump put this clip together of Trump and Obama. And the difference in how they approach it. It's the greatest clip ever. If I could find it. Is it? Yeah, here it is. There you go. So this is why everybody loves Trump and everybody hates typical politicians. Right here. Here we go.
And we were right, it was. The United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden.
Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead.
The United States launched a targeted operation against that compound.
They did a lot of shooting and they did a lot of blasting, even not going through the front door. You know, you think you go through the door. If you're a normal person, you say, knock, knock, may I come in?
After a firefight, they killed Osama bin Laden and took custody of his body.
He died like a dog.
But his death does not mark the end of our effort.
A beautiful dog. A talented dog.
We give thanks for the men who carried out this operation.
And I don't get any credit for this, but that's okay. I never do. But here we are.
May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
And I'm writing a book. I think I wrote 12 books. All did very well.
They just make Trump look cooler when they do shit like that. Like, that doesn't hurt Trump. That makes him look cooler. And the fake crowd, the fake laughing from the crowd is so cringe. It's so cringe. Matt Frog says Jeremy Trump met with Kim Jong-un for a full year way before there became a deal. 60 days and saying 0% enrichment is poison pill. By the way, AIPAC pays both sides, so they didn't care that the 2020 election was stolen. Yeah, that was part of. Thank you for the 20. That was a big discussion within the Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson interview as well. AIPAC. Darth Gavel got that one. Alin Jin says a lot of us have seen this before, and we worry even without proof. Trump may turn on us like many other people before him. I mean, I understand. I'm not saying you can't be concerned, but is the hyperbole around it is what I dismiss completely. Like I'm worried. I hope he makes the right decision, but I'm very much trust him to make the right decision, but it doesn't mean that I automatically think he's going to make the right decision. I think he's got a ton of pressure and a ton of people in his ear. And, so I am worried about what he's going to do, but I have faith that he's going to make the right decision. Mac Jerry says, I have no idea why they are going to war with a flock of seagulls. I thought Iran was an excellent song. Mad Frog says, Netflix Yahoo immediately congratulated Biden on his win in 2020. Now Trump is best good friends with that scumbag. Agreed. Andrew CR says, Larry Loomer looks like handsome Squidward. Saratoga says, I know some people don't believe in woke right with the back and forth on X this past week. I'm not sure there is or not. Yeah, I really don't know. I don't know. I would have to see what people mean by the term woke right. I don't know what they mean by that. I've seen the term used a lot. So, okay. So with that, we're going to call it. I expected a little more news throughout the day, but it looks like President Trump has kind of put things in perspective, and it looks like we're going to have a few more weeks of a lot of speculation, and hopefully a peace deal is going to be put in place. But until then, we're just going to have to wait and see. I'll continue to go live throughout the day. Again, if you have not, make sure you go get your Uncle I. T-shirt over from our Teespring store. We appreciate it. We are doing a locals watch party tonight. I believe is it Revenge of the Sith tonight? I'm not sure what they're watching. And then next week, hopefully, we're going to start Band of Brothers watch party over on our Geeks and Gamers locals account. So it's going to be awesome, and I'm looking forward to it. So I thank you all so much. And in this chaotic time, I'm going to try to keep my head as level as possible in all of this, because there's so many people that are demanding that you agree with them. And you can have whatever opinion you want, but you're not going to force me to agree with you. And the easiest way to get me to disagree with you is to tell me that I have to agree with you, because I don't have to agree with anyone. But I think that people like Tucker Carlson have had some very valid criticisms against President Trump that I think are worth listening to. But I do have trust that President Trump is going to make the right decision, and time will tell how that all plays out. So hope you all have a great day. And I guess I'll be seeing you guys sometime tomorrow. And then if news breaks, I'll go live and we'll talk about it, and we'll see. I won't be available for the rest of the evening, but I will be available tomorrow. So you guys have a good day, and we'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.